Mother, man.
You guys have seen Shark Week before. Well, listen to how we sink our teeth in on Murder Metal Mayhem.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem!
All right, what's up, motherfuckers?
What the fuck is up?
Getting a little chomping going on tonight.
Yeah, a little bit chompy. Yeah, good call.
Tuesday, and we are throwing down a new Murder Metal Mayhem. Joey's coughing in the background. I wonder why.
Don't know why.
Don't have any idea.
Lemon Kush.
We're in Horn's Eye Studios for the Horn's Eye Podcast Network, episode 186, going down tonight. Chris, Joey got you guys in here, and of course, Chris, Joey's last show in the studio for a while.
Yep, sure enough.
Getting ready to move away, Joey.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Here in the next few days. So
Headed to the 419.
Wow. So it's going to be quite the change, and we did a little test recording using Zoom, which is how we're going to talk to each other, and had a little bit of echo issues we're going to have to figure out, but overall, we were able to connect and see each other, and so that's important.
Once we get it ironed out, that right there opens up for us to put these on YouTube.
Yeah, because you could see that would be pretty cool to watch. Yeah. You could see each one of us really well on the screen, and like Brady Bunch style.
Right.
So, and I'm wondering if I could put like a background or something on it. I've never fucked with that, so that'd be something to check out. All right, well, what T-shirts we got on, Chris? What you doing over there?
Got the Waco Jesus shirt.
Fuck yeah.
Old bondage with some titties hanging out and whatnot.
Brutal.
Fuck yeah.
Because we're taking pictures tonight, so that's
yeah.
your Sunday best. And you got a cool hat.
See you in hell.
See you in hell hat.
See you in hell.
The Grim Reaper album.
Shit, yeah.
Joey, what about you doing? What you doing over there? See some fins.
Yeah. No fins.
On the hat.
Oh, on the hat. Yeah, I do. I got the Greg Norman hat. I rock his shit because he uses the shark for his mascot. Also, I got the fucking... I've only got like 3 or 4 shirts right now. I've got everything packed away.
Oh, yeah, you're all packed
Yeah,
up.
I'm living off 2 pairs of camo shorts and like 5 T-shirts, and I'm going to a metal fest. So that's just how it's going. But
you
anyway,
can get some shirts while
Heavy
you're there.
metal hobo.
Right. So I didn't have none of my shark shirts to wear, but I did wear the Blister and Defilement shirt. That's my buddies, and I wore this because they're from down in Florida, and Florida is usually always the shark attack capital of the world.
True.
So I figured that was my tie-in with that.
Right.
Also, I love Bic. I talk about Bic with their pens and their lighters. Please sponsor me.
Right.
But I got my fucking Bic lighter with the great white under the mistletoe, and it says "Kiss
nice.
me."
Fucking right.
I did the lighter graveyard the other day, and there was 141.
Wow.
141
I saw the picture of it.
That's
Yeah, that
so
was
stupid.
great. And you're bringing them to Ohio.
I
with you.
am.
He said,
Yeah.
I'm literally bringing this pile of
Yeah.
garbage.
Eventually, I'm going to do something with them on a wall, something.
Sure,
cool.
sure.
So what's your shirt?
I thought I was going through my shirts trying to
Yeah.
find a tie-in, and this is as close as
That's
I could
close,
get. 'Cause
yeah.
some brutal shit, Faces of Death,
Yep.
the OG of fucking brutality, man. I
Yeah.
remember watching this on VHS.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit, Dr. Francis B. Gross
Right.
and all that shit going on with the Faces of Death movies. And the original one, though, is my
Right.
definitely something that I just came out at the right time for me to
Right.
be into that shit, So yeah, so I'm Faces of Death tonight. And yeah, we're doing pictures. So I was going through what shirt, I thought would look good, pictures, and I thought Faces of Death.
Definitely.
I get a lot of compliments on this shirt. People are
yeah.
like, where the hell did you get that, dude? So yeah, people remember that shit.
Fucking A.
Now
Like
last week,
rotten.com.
right?
Yeah, rotten cotton.
Last week we did an episode on another Canadian true crime story. Got a shitload of listens to this
Hell yeah.
one. And we had our buddy Shane Borchuk on with us to talk about it and ate some poutine. And
Yeah, we did.
That was
shit
fun.
good.
And we covered the disturbing case of Gabriel Wortman, the Nova Scotia shooter, murdered 22 people in 13 hours And Joey, that was crazy. Just 2020. I mean, so
Yeah.
this is a very recent story.
You know what else is crazy? As I was re-listening to the episode. Now, we made a big thing about decals, remember?
Right.
Right.
And he was like, no, we call them decals up here. And
Right,
then
right.
it was like, yeah, we sound like rednecks saying decal. Like, I hear it.
I do. After you say that, I
So
do.
another one is poutine. Because whenever I listen back and I heard like Shane say it,
Oh.
he says it like pudding. So it's like pudding.
Really?
So I'm thinking the way we say it, poutine, probably
Oh,
sounds redneck as
shit.
fuck. Yeah. So
Oh,
Shane, if you're
no.
listening to this, tell me if you were
Yeah,
laughing at
Shane,
us,
let us
or
know.
is that really how you say it? And I was just going off my rocker, but
Interesting. Yeah. Canadian listeners or our buddy Shane.
yeah.
Let us know. Are we saying poutine wrong? Because is that why it sounds like poutine?
Yeah, so I think it's pudding.
And I don't know though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd love to know.
Yeah.
So let's find out. All right. So that was a good episode. Joe or Chris, you had the horns. You did some brutal stuff.
Fucking A, right, man. What did I do? Shit.
Extermination.
Oh, yeah, extermination, dismemberment. God damn,
Yeah.
I fucking forgot.
Yeah, some brutal stuff, and we
Fucking
did a
heavy as
really
fuck.
funny killer cage match. That was hilarious.
Joey killed that shit.
Joey with all the
God
voices,
damn.
Beavis and Butthead, fucking Sick Ripper.
Ask Michael
Kendall
what he thought of
Francois.
that. Because he always,
Yeah.
Michael's Patreon, you know what I'm saying, 606 Club. So he always listens Wednesday morning. And I was like, what'd you think? He was like, bro, I had to leave and go off on my own because I was laughing so hard.
Oh, nice.
He
Yeah.
came up to me. He's like, dude, I was over at my desk just fucking dying.
That's
dude.
great. That's great. That was really fun. And I had a mayhem story. Fucking,
yeah?
This is garbage, that
Yeah.
fucking story. And, the usual stupidity. So we were passing 900 listens to that one today. So very cool. And many thanks to you guys that checked it out. And if you missed it, go check out episode 185. Now, tonight, we're going to be doing one we talked about last year this time, right after Shark Week, though. We were like, man, we missed the boat. No, Joey loves sharks, and Joey's getting ready to move. We're like, man, we need to do it this year.
Fucking
It worked
right we
out.
It did.
Chris, it worked out perfectly that it was the last show that Joey's doing in Hornseye for a while. I'm sure he'll be back to visit and stuff. But for the time being, this is the last one. So it just worked out so cool. It's Shark Week, Joey's last show for a while in the studio. And we're doing that 1916 Jersey Shore shark attack, which inspired the movie Jaws. And we'll do that and take a bite out of your ass in the murder segment. So
Literally.
that's pretty good.
Chomp, chomp.
Chomping. And Joey, you got the horns tonight, and you decided to do something you kind of goes against your grain, but you
Yeah.
wanted to fucking do it.
I'm going to do
think
my
it's-
own band.
I think it's a great idea, dude.
I'm going to do Goremonger, last time sitting in Hornseye for a while at least. And I've always figured I should do my band at some point anyway.
Right.
Give people a chance to fucking listen. Now,
Yeah.
the only thing I will say that I kind of missed the boat also on this is I got all excited because I was going to hit you up and be like, man, we should video record the metal segment because then any just Goremonger fans that want to check it out, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I was thinking about, it's like, man, but I packed up all my CDs, all my shit already, because if I did it that way, I'd want to be able to like show them off.
Right.
But everything I have is packed, so we'll just do it the regular way. But yeah, I'm doing Goremonger tonight. So
That's cool. That's cool. And then, Chris, you got a Lost
I
Classic.
got a little Lost Classic, yeah.
Very cool. And we'll do that in the metal segment. So now tonight, another great killer cage match, I'm sure. This is where we have our listeners provide some random numbers on our Facebook page to help us decide who's fighting and who they fight or what they're fighting with into death in the steel cage. And this one, doing with a little twist, you guys don't even know exactly what I got up my sleeve.
I saw you change the number count around.
I did. So bunker down for a good one tonight because we're not going to tell you, because these guys don't know either, exactly what I got in mind. But
That's
it's going to
fucking-
be fun. Now, Chris, we got some listeners, though, we want to say thank you to.
Yes, sir. We got the homie Gummo Wall Bacon. What
Oh,
up?
yeah?
We got Michael Draymond. I know
Welcome to the
Nice.
cum zone.
Welcome to the cum zone. And we got the old girl, our fucking friend Rebecca Boomsock.
Hell
Fuck
yeah.
dude.
Very cool. So 3 people that definitely want to say thank you to. And we got a very special one tonight. So it's no, so secret that you guys don't even know. I've got it saved on a different file on my computer, so it's not in the notes.
Right.
It's all just completely, off the charts with being secretive tonight, because I thought this would be fun to do cold on you guys instead of having it all figured out ahead of time.
Gonna be interesting.
SickRickMasks.com, guys, a new sponsor. Rick Fisher, just such a badass dude. Sick
Fucking
Rick.
dope at our mask we got on display on the table tonight.
Yeah, we got a good one. We've been featuring a mask every week, and the first mask we got was the Dominus one, the black metal Venom mask.
Which we
Tonight,
had last week.
we got the first serial killer mask that we
right.
got.
Pogo, baby.
Yeah,
Fucking
Pogo
Dominus
in
Pogo.
all his
Fucking-
creepy fucking glory, staring me down like he's gonna fucking murder me.
That eyes fucking on that motherfucker are scary as shit.
Yeah. Yeah. His eyes are definitely freaky in this one. I think, when I was looking at his masks, I really wanted to get the Venom one. And Rick told me that they don't make those inverted cross stands anymore. The guy that was doing them for him doesn't do them anymore.
Oh, really?
So he's like, dude, you got something that a lot of people ask me about. It's probably worth some money.
Can't fucking get.
That you can't get the Venom mask on that stand anymore.
Right.
So that's fucking cool. But this one just creeped me out. And when I was ordering it, I'm like, man, I really want the Gacy one next. So, yeah, it's got the fucking Pogo makeup on, the hat. The detail's great. The teeth are fucking very realistic looking.
And scary.
Yes.
He's
so
working
it's
with
a good one.
What's the company he's working with? Trick or Treat.
Yeah,
Trick or Treat Studios. He's
Some
been
of
doing
those
some
masks
repaints.
are fucking badass.
Yeah.
The Michael Myers one he did was fucking.
Yeah, the repaint
the
that he did
orange
on
one,
that?
like the cover.
To make it look like it burned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really, really good. So Rick is just fantastic. So Sick Rick, SIKRIK masks.com. And I'll link to him in the episode description. You can go on his Facebook, give him a friend request, and stay up on what he's doing and what masks are coming up. He talked about Warnos.
Yeah.
Just started the sculpting for that.
Oh, he did
on
start
Saturday,
sculpting?
yes.
Oh, shit.
So
Hell
it's coming, yeah. So it's real rough. I didn't see any of it.
Right.
He was in his studio, which was cool too. Got the creepy basement vibe going on.
Hell
So it was great. And he's starting to grow his hair out. So I was giving him a little shit about that. But he's hanging up the real estate because he was doing real estate business too. And he's doing masks full time now.
Like,
So
good for him, man.
yeah,
Fucking
really
right.
cool. All right. And that interview I did with Rick on Saturday, that's going to be coming up probably next week. A little piece of it, and then the full interview maybe on Friday.
Right.
And we'll do the YouTube video of the interview as well. It was like 50-something minutes long, so it was really a good one. Thank you to everybody out there listening. We keep seeing those numbers rolling in. Man, we had a ball fucking smashing fucking week at 5,300 listens. That's
Thank
really
you, guys.
awesome.
Yeah, you guys are fucking amazing.
Up almost, 2,100 since the week before. So that's pretty awesome. So thank you to everybody out there checking out Murder Metal Mayhem. All right, guys, we got a lot on our plate tonight. We're going to be taking a trip east to the Jersey Shore. And hopefully Snooky's hiding and everybody's going to be safe and avoid getting eaten up by a great white.
Yeah, so fucking let's jump in the water, watch your toes, because there's sharks out there.
Dun-dun,
What's your name again?
Chrissy,
Where are we going?
swimming!
You're either gonna kill this animal or you're gonna cut off its food supply.
Larry, we have to close the beaches.
Cut it open. Whatever it's eaten in the last 24 hours is bound to still be in there, and then we'll be sure.
Beaches closed. No swimming. By order of the Amity PD.
Now that's some fucking brutal shit right
Fuck
there.
yeah, dude.
Joey, who was that band?
That's
you
the
shared?
boys from Montreal, Holy Cost.
Fuck yeah, and featuring Joey Goremonger.
Yeah, I did some guest vocals on that. When they did a Jaws song, I guess they figured that, they needed me on there.
Right.
But yeah, Holy Cost, man, that's the fucking the guys from up in Montreal, fucking supporters.
Now these are the guys that were criticizing us slightly on the poutine.
You know what's
right?
funny is the vocalist Brian is like, he's my main critique. Like when I posted the poutine,
Right.
And that's fine.
But this time, they weren't saying shit.
only the steak fry comment?
Only the steak fry comment. But no, as far as like, no, they didn't say nothing about that. So we must have did a pretty good job.
Okay.
Heart reacts all around.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Well, thank you, Canadian friends. And I don't know if you guys are the reason why the numbers spiked up, but we appreciate that very much. So thank you. All right. Tonight, we're going to be doing a story. As we said, we've been talking about this one for a bit. And it's Shark Week, and Joey loves sharks,
Shark
so
Fest.
why not? Shark Fest. I'm sorry.
They changed it to 4 weeks, baby.
That's right. I don't know why they're so close to the vest on when they're going to do it, like it's some big
Right.
unveiling, but
Right?
it is
That's
a big
crazy,
unveiling.
yeah.
Because I was trying to get which week are they doing it in
Yeah.
July, and they weren't saying,
Just all marketing and PR.
Right. So we're going to be talking about the Jersey Shore shark attacks of 1916, which, as I said earlier, is what inspired the movie Jaws,
Yeah.
which was, of course, a huge blockbuster film.
We'll talk about it. Some of their thoughts on what they thought sharks looked like back then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, what,
very
dude?
interesting. It just shows how far we've come and just
Right.
what people know, now that you can just pull it up on your phone, you'll go, oh, that's what that looks
That's
like.
an evil motherfucker.
That's what poutine is. It's not pussy, So anyway, I remember when Jaws came out. I remember I was in day camp and I was drawing the silhouette of the shark
Hell
coming
yeah.
up,
Right.
and they didn't like back then. That was okay, but like nowadays, they'd have been sending my ass to the shrink, or they would have been doing the Damien Eccles fucking treatment on me. So
right.
who knows? But you may not be familiar with the real events that terrorized these people in Jersey who are not obviously used to shark attacks, especially so many in a short period of time. Pretty
And a couple
wild.
of them in an odd spot.
Very much. It affected tourism, and we know that when you mess with that, people tend to get a little upset because you're talking about a lot of
Talking
money.
about money, yeah, exactly.
And even the United States president at the time got involved with this one. So we'll dig into the details for you here tonight, as only we do here at Murder Metal Mayhem. Now, Joey, what is it about sharks? I don't know if you've ever told me. What is it about them that interests you so much?
I don't even know if there's any specific thing either. It's like I grew up, in Connecticut on the ocean side. And so like I go fishing and catch dogfish sharks and all that. So that was commonplace to me back then,
Okay.
And it could have been whenever I first saw Jaws. I don't know. That might have been I was always into them, but like the super fascination. I do remember whenever I was young seeing Jaws, like when I was probably like, 6 or 7, somewhere in that age range. Right. And it definitely had a huge impact on me. And like that's
Holy shit.
That's still to this day one of my most watched movies. I've watched it so many fucking times. It's just really amazing story. And then, that sparks your interest. And then as I'm growing up a little bit, you find out that it was based off a real story.
Right.
So then you look it up, and how crazy was it to me? Because definitely, like, whenever I was younger, like preteens, I would have thought, like, all shark attacks were, like, California or Australia.
Right. Or Florida.
Right. And, to find out that one happened in New Jersey was just
Right.
very eye-opening.
Yeah.
And, just a little bit of a tangent, but you like even continue further on and it shows how the oceans have changed over the years. But
Right.
the Atlantic coast up in New England, like off Cape Cod and, Long Island and all that, like the shark sightings have increased so much, and like great whites are up there all the time now. And it's like super commonplace for them to see shark like that. And I don't ever remember that growing up ever even being a concern.
Yeah.
And then a couple years ago, the lady got killed in Maine by a great white shark, attacked and killed. And like,
And that was like the
never
first
in my
great-
wildest dreams did I think somebody get killed by a shark in fucking Maine ever.
Right.
But it was just a hotter summer. It was just
Wow.
there's certain elements that whenever they all come together create
Right.
a perfect opportunity for these apex beasts, and that's what this Jersey thing is for
Right.
sure.
I was watching this thing just on sharks, not necessarily for the podcast as before, but like just a couple of weeks ago. But like India or somewhere, there's like this power plant where the water comes back into the ocean. It's all warm, and they all seem to school there because they found out that most of them are pregnant, so they're like keeping their bodies warm for the fucking babies and shit, which is fucking. They think like the water temperature is a huge reason why sharks congregate to new spots all the time and shit, because the warmer water they go to it. So it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, sharks have always been my thing, but let me just also clarify that I'm just a fucking fan of apex predators, period. Like, I love lions, I love fucking crocodiles, alligators, like, all that shit fascinates me, big-ass fucking snakes and shit. And it's all things that I would never want to fucking run up on in the wild. But even though, like, when we went to Florida, though, that was cool, like, walking along, and then them fucking big gators are like, we're in their area.
Yeah,
so.
they were right there beside us. It's like, oh, fuck, dude.
Yeah. I've never seen any gators. I've never seen any sharks either. I mean, other than in my fish tank, I had a couple of small sharks. But yeah, so that would be fucked up to actually see one of these things. Now, Chris, how aware were you of the 1916 attacks, the real story behind Jaws?
Like, I didn't know any details. I knew it was a thing, but I never really. I honestly didn't even know it was so far back as 1916.
I didn't either. I was thinking it was sooner than that.
Yeah, but I like as far as the actual real story of it, like I didn't have any.
Yeah, I had no idea either. So it's. I think a lot of people are probably going to be in that boat here tonight. Now, my grandparents lived in New Jersey, not on the shore, but about a half hour away, half hour inland. I knew, of course, about Jaws and that it was based on real events, but nothing beyond that. And, to be clear, Jaws was not meant to be anything more than inspired by these events. So we're not talking like a documentary.
Sharks weren't attacking boats and shit.
Right. So this is, like a lot of movies based on real events. They take some liberties to make it more entertaining, and that's what it's all about, which I get. If you want to see something closer to the actual story, then check out 12 Days of Terror, which is a movie, but it is much closer to the real thing.
It's good.
It was good. So if the story interests you, go check that out. It was not that old of a movie, within the last few years, right? I'm not sure the date offhand, but it's not terribly old. The shark attacks of 1916 happened along the east coast of New Jersey, what most people know of as the Jersey Shore. And unfortunately, whenever people hear those two words, Jersey
it always
Shore,
goes back to fucking, like you said, Snooki and shit.
Oh God, Snooki and all that fucking stupid shit. The reality show, bunch of fucking morons.
But the funny thing is shitty shark movies, horror movies, blew up. Like, there's a billion of them you can watch.
Oh, yeah.
And then they took both these concepts, put them together, and if you guys want a real cheese fest, go watch South Jersey Shark Attack.
Oh, okay.
Because that's a fucking actual movie. So.
That's
No
funny.
shit.
Or Jersey Shore Shark Attack.
Yeah, and for an Italian or an East Coast person, like the Jersey Shore is just like nails on a chalkboard, like, come on with this shit. Making us look like fucking idiots here, So yeah, that's not what we're talking about here. This is a huge tourist attraction. Even in 1916, brought in millions to the area. And so anything that's going to disrupt that is going to be a big fucking deal. And this was at a time when people were finally starting to come to the Jersey Shore from New York City, from Philadelphia. They're getting there on train, and they're flocking to the beaches for the first time because
crazy.
it was very hot that summer.
Yeah. And like some of the old video footage of that is fucking nuts because like at first
they're all dressed up.
Yeah, at first people weren't really going to the water. They're just hanging out on the beach and shit,
Right.
fucking walking down the boardwalk, whatever. Wearing full on suits, dresses,
Yeah,
fucking just
all dressed up.
dressed, dude. Like holy fuck. Now you go out there and bitches hardly be wearing anything.
Exactly. So, Joey, I mean, we know that the shark attacks happen in Florida, but Jersey, I mean, are rare, of course. But what about just in general attacks on humans? I mean, how common is it for sharks to attack people?
All right, I pulled up some statistics for this one.
Very good.
So the answer to that in the United States, technically, is your chance of getting attacked by a shark is 1 in 11.5 million.
Wow.
And a person's chance of actually getting killed by a shark is less than 1 in 264.1 million.
Oh, boy.
So obviously, you know what I'm saying?
Pretty rare.
It's pretty rare. Most of the attacks that happen in the U.S. are going to happen in Florida, California, Hawaii, Texas, Carolinas. So anything up in the upper areas of the East Coast it's rare.
Right.
That's why this attack that we're talking about, the 1916 attacks, that's why regardless of what anybody thinks about it, it was a fucking anomaly because it was a lot of attacks in a place that never happened before that or after that.
In a really short span of time.
Yeah.
And those ones that were inland, that was fucked up.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
Some
yeah, definitely
really
weird.
Places.
So, your greatest chance to get fatally killed by a shark is Australia. They have the most fatalities. United States has the most bites. There's also the situation that a majority of third world coastal nations, which there's tons of them, they don't have any method of reporting supported or suspected shark attacks. So anything that they have that would be a loss or a fatality near shore or at sea is probably undocumented. So in all reality, there's probably more than what they're saying. But I'll give you a few numbers real fast right here. This is from 1958 until the present. So you're talking over 50 years. Right. So the total attacks, United States is at 1,106 plus 137 in Hawaii. So you're looking at about 1,300 attacks.
In 50 plus years.
In 50 plus years, 37 of those fatal. Now, the next country or continent is Australia. And in the same time period, so we had about 1,300, 1,200, whatever. They've had 646 attacks. 260 of those have been fatal.
Oh, shit.
Holy shit.
So that's a much higher chance that you're going to get killed if you get attacked. And the whole reasoning behind this is because if you get attacked by a shark in Australia, you're probably going to get hit by a great white shark or one of the larger apex. Where in the United States, we have so many smaller sharks, sand tigers, things like that. So, yeah, Florida leads all the time, but it's a whole bunch of like smaller, non-lethal bites and things like that. So.
Gotcha. Interesting.
I was just going to say the place you're most likely to get bit in the whole world, if you want to go on vacation, maybe get nibbled on by a shark, for clout, is New Smyrna Beach, Florida. So that's the spot.
That's the place to be if you want to get bit. All right. Good to know.
I saw this fucking thing in Hawaii. These free swimmers swimming this fucking race or whatever, getting bit by these fucking cookie cutter sharks.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking crazy. Like, they will come up and take this perfect circle, like a cone, out of your fucking flesh, dude. Like,
oh, my God.
It was fucking nuts.
Yeah, their teeth are fucking, really crazy looking.
Yeah.
It is. It's like a little vice. Yeah. They'll just pull out chunks.
They push in the bottoms and then bring the top around and cup it out. It's fucking nuts, dude.
That's fucked up. Jeez. Now, Chris, I couldn't imagine if Shawback Nation was near a beach that you guys might get drunk and maybe go swimming with sharks or dolphins or like dolphins.
I mean, I'm sure some people would. I don't know about me so much. Like, I bet you never know. I've done some dumb shit when I've been drinking a lot.
I could see Michael going down there, rubbing chum all over himself.
Like, come get me, bitches.
Welcome to the chum zone.
He could probably eat chum right now since he ain't got no teeth.
Word.
Oh, damn. So these attacks happened at the height of the tourist season, as we were saying, July 1st to July 12th, again, of 1916. 12 days of some serious fucking mayhem, that's for sure. 4 people are killed. 1 is injured. Again, this is not a place where you would ever hear about this shit. So this is a very fucking strange occurrence.
Right.
And I remember swimming there as a kid. I don't know about the exact beach, but right near that area. And I don't remember this coming up. And I was even there within striking distance of the Jaws movie. So,
right.
Yes, it was like a, ooh, that's fucked up. But, you know, I guess because I grew up at on the water, I didn't at all feel like I was going to get eaten by a shark.
Right.
I liked the movie, but maybe because, Joey, we grew up near it, it was less taboo where people from the Midwest or places where you're not at the ocean might have more of a, you know, I don't know.
And in all reality, like this is one of the biggest shark tragedies that ever happened is this one with 5, you know, victims or whatever.
Right.
Which that shows you how, like, the other ones are like at sea, wartime vessels going down tragedies, Indianapolis.
True.
Yeah, that's way different. So
that's totally different.
So that just shows you like how rare this is. And
true.
So yeah, like you said, growing up on right around the beaches and everything else, the attacks happened in 1916. There was another guy who got bit, but not fatally, in 1960. Nothing else besides that. So the fears really aren't there unless they're implanted.
True.
Now, what is worse than any shark attack that's ever happened, as far as like instilling fear on humans, is when Peter Benchley wrote Jaws. When he wrote that book and people read that kept more people out of the water than anything ever has.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure. So, you know, another thing to note about this is, as we talked about the heat wave that was happening, so people really, as Chris was saying, actually going in the water. And, you know, the U.S. was also plagued with the polio epidemic at the time, which left many children permanently disabled. We don't see polio now, although I did hear a story recently about an adult in New York that was diagnosed with it, which is definitely crazy, since there's been a vaccine since 1950. So when you've got, you know, as we've talked about before, multiple things going on in the news.
Right.
Titanic was what, like 1911? So right before this.
Right.
So, you know, things tend to get overshadowed in time, you know, based on other events. World War II started in 1914. So yeah. And I always remember that. You know, you talk about something, date I, for whatever reason, always remember. But Low 12 song Trench is about World War I. And in the lyrics, I say 1914. So in my mind, I always remember the start of World War I, which was 1914.
You know, and this whole situation, the shark attacks at Jersey Shore, like, worldwide changed how people thought about shit, because up to this point, people really didn't think that a shark could possibly kill a human.
Sure.
They didn't think that there was any way that they could bite into us to harm us.
Yeah, they didn't
like
think
that.
their teeth were fucking
sharp. They didn't even know what they
bone
looked like,
yeah.
which is fucked up, right?
Yeah, so like this put it in perspective. So then there were people that then started looking at it as a sea monster.
Right.
You know, and the legend continued. But
yeah, but that whole thing with the biting on the side of their mouth, it's on one side.
Which the only thing I can gather is all they've seen their whole life is pictures. And so you see a picture and it has the mouth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they only think it's one side?
Yeah, your mind only formulated that that's exactly how a shark looks.
Oh, okay.
Never thinking about the three-dimensional aspect and
that's a good,
that
I
it
never
wraps
thought of
around,
that.
you know?
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
But yeah, if all you have ever seen is just a few pictures.
And they weren't even good quality pictures
Yeah.
back then, obviously.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure, that's true. That's true.
and I saw this fucking, for a while, people even thought some sharks had fucking legs and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Like, what?
Yeah, so it's just hard to imagine a time before the internet, before, you know, the 24-hour news cycle and smartphones and all these different things that we have today. When you think about going all the way back to then even, holy shit, that's like lifetimes ago, literally, you know? So the first attack happened July 1st in the town of Beach Haven, New Jersey, which is off of Long Beach Island. 28-year-old man, Charles Van Zant, was attacked while on vacation with his family. They were from Philadelphia, and they're all hanging out at the beach when it happened, which is fucked up. The lifeguards, of course, are caught off guard, since they're not used to these type of attacks. He went in for a quick swim with a dog that he was playing with on the beach, and he starts screaming, Chris, and people think it's him playing with the dog. They have no idea,
It wasn't a dog. It wasn't even a dogfish shark.
So a lifeguard and a citizen rescued him from the water, but the shark is biting his legs. People think he's just calling out to the dog. The lifeguard said that they followed the shark followed him to the shore in the blood. So that's what he told the police that showed up. And his left thigh was stripped of its skin, and its injuries were severe. He winds up bleeding out on the desk of the manager of the Ingleside Hotel right there on the beach.
You just wasted another fucking towel on this guy.
Fucking expensive towel. Chris, despite these attacks, they keep the shore open, man. It's like business as usual.
I mean, there's so many people out there, and there's one person that it's never happened before. So, like, why shut anything down? It's like, oh, this guy got it. Sucks to be him, basically.
Yeah, and the headlines, though, the man attacked by a fish.
Yeah, by a fish, not like. I mean,
that's a little bit of an understatement.
Yeah, small understatement, but.
Like a big goldfish came up and kissed him, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny based on what we know of a shark. To call it just a fish is a little bit of an understatement. So,
especially them big motherfuckers.
Right. Now, Joey, sea captains were reporting a large amount of sharks swimming off the shore of New Jersey. But I think I saw some stuff about people thought the naval battles in World War I were causing sharks to leave like Europe. But, I don't know how much of it's fact and how much of it is just wild guessing.
And everything that they knew about sharks was nil to nothing back then.
They didn't know
even
shit.
Like experts, they weren't like, I don't know. But I could see like back then with how they were thinking and shit, how that could be kind of a feasible explanation for why it was coming, why they were coming. But now that it's 2022 and we have a lot more education about sharks and shit, I definitely don't believe that at all, because two reasons. You're having the battles at sea, and you've got bodies in the water, and that's food for them. Not to mention sharks, they are attracted to disturbances in the water,
vibrations. And shit.
They might be cautious in the near vicinity till they figure out what's going on. But if there's a disturbance going on or any loud shit, fucking firing of weapons or whatever, that's going to attract them because they're going to be curious. So.
Yeah, and the blood in the water that they can smell for fucking mile away.
That's true.
Shit.
Yeah.
But like I said, they knew none of this back then. So
that's true.
They were just trying to figure out what the fuck.
Right. Yeah, it's just interesting, all the theories.
Yeah.
Now, the second attack was July 6th in Spring Lake, New Jersey. This is about 45 miles north of the first attack. The victim is 27-year-old Charles Bruder, who is a Swiss captain staying at an area hotel. He's swimming about 130 yards from shore. That's pretty far out there. This was definitely a brutal attack. He was bit in the abdomen and bit off his legs from the knees down.
Both of them motherfuckers.
Yeah. A woman heard him screaming and alerted the lifeguards, who went out to rescue him. And I saw that they could tell he was really light when they were pulling him out of the water, and then they realized he was missing the bottom part of his leg.
A quarter of your fucking body.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
And they say they could see like the blood, and they thought like he capsized a fucking red canoe or some shit.
Right.
And so that they went out there and fucking, he's like dropping out.
Yeah, definitely fucked up. And unfortunately, the man bled out before they got him to shore even.
And this is... So later on, when we talk about the shark that they catch, I'm going to talk about some other shit.
Right.
But right now, I'm just going to state that this guy lost both his legs. These were fucking brutal attacks. Like, this was, you see people get attacked by sharks and like they don't lose limbs like that generally. Right. Sometimes they do.
Right.
But generally that's a very extreme situation.
Right,
all of these bites that were happening back then were fucking brutal attacks by a creature.
Right.
Bull shark, which is a possible theory that they have about this. They're the ones that have the strongest bite, the most testosterone of any animal in the world, actually. And so they would be apt to cause severe damage like that.
Right.
Tiger sharks also are known for double tapping people or going back for multiple bites.
Oh, wow.
And a tiger shark definitely has the possibility to do that. And those sharks have been found in those waters up there, but it's rare. Because they prefer the warmer climate,
right?
But that's what we're saying is this was a
very
hot summer,
right?
So conditions were a lot different. So
true,
it could have been. Nobody really knows,
right?
But later on, we're going to talk about one that got caught that is a little different from either of those. So.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So the next two people that are attacked happened at an even stranger location.
Fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, this is happening in Matawan Creek in the town of Keyport on July 12th, 30 miles north of the second attack in Spring Lake. But the shark attacks are working their way north.
Yeah.
But this one was so strange because of how far inland it was.
He came up the creek and kids were swimming.
Yeah.
Like one of them got pulled under by the shark and fucking Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, and did you see, Chris, that a captain called in an 8-foot shark that he saw in the creek
before that?
Yeah, and they thought he was full of shit.
Yeah, he's like, oh fuck, there's a fucking shark here. Like, no fucking way, dude. Like, there's something in that water.
Right.
But then it was crazy also because after fucking the kid got pulled under and the other dude came in and he jumped in the water to save him.
Right.
He thought maybe the kid was having a seizure.
Right. Yeah. So
right.
he goes in the water to save. Yeah, he didn't realize what was happening.
Yeah.
But the shark got him the same fucking time that he's trying to help the kid that just got fucking.
Yeah, because the first kid's 11-year-old Lester Stillwell, and Chris, you said he gets pulled under, and then Joey, the 24-year-old, what was his name?
I don't remember.
Watson
offhand.
Fisher.
Can't remember, but
Fisher's his last name. He jumps
Fisher.
in to save him because, like you said, Joe, he thought he was having a fucking seizure, and then what happens to him?
He gets tacked too by the same exact shark.
Right.
He goes to the hospital for his wounds. Or Lester's body, it was recovered, but
right later on,
they both ended up getting killed. And that's another thing that's so strange about this case is you don't see a lot of shark attacks where somebody that goes to save the victim also gets bit.
Right.
That's rare, and people are constantly trying. That's why they say a lot of people that get bit are probably out on their own. They're easy targets.
Right.
So that's why you try to stay in a group. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Safety in numbers.
Sure.
And this case is so crazy because fucking it had the attack. It got the kid. Then this dude jumps in. I mean, he's 24, so he's pretty full size.
Right.
And it doesn't scare it off at all. It's like, fuck you, that's my food.
Right.
And fucking gets him.
Tears his ass up.
2 fatalities.
He died at the hospital.
At the hospital, right.
But Lester died in the water.
But then the shark wasn't even done that with. He continued.
Yeah,
Right.
he kept on going.
Yeah.
In the creek.
So at this point, the media is going fucking crazy with the story, and there are bounties out there for anyone who can kill sharks. And so you got guys out there trying to make some money. They were $100 a piece, and I Googled to see how much that would be today. $2,800.
That's a goddamn shit ton of money.
That's pretty good little chunk of change.
See some of the video and photos of fucking there's boats full of fucking sharks.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh
dude.
yeah. Yeah, these guys were making some money, so they were out there catching them. And I remember in the movie Jaws, they talk about finding license plates in the sharks and stuff like that, which definitely puts an image in your mind of how big these motherfuckers are.
And that one, that was a real shark that they had for that scene. The tiger shark in the movie Jaws.
Oh, okay.
Was a real one. I think it had got caught in a net or whatever at sea, and so the Marine lab had it, and they let them use it for the movie or whatever. But yeah, they called the tiger shark the garbage can of the sea, and them motherfuckers will eat anything. So for it to find a fucking
license plate,
that isn't unlikely.
Yeah, that's nuts. And then, as you guys said, that shark wasn't done yet because the last victim, 14-year-old Joseph Dunn from New York City, he's killed about 30 minutes from the attack on Lester Stillwell and Watson Fisher. So 30 minutes after that, he's in the fucking water. He gets nailed. He was the one that was bit and rescued and taken to a hospital. He gets released 2 months later, so he's the only one that survived the attack.
I saw a documentary.
But, holy shit!
I saw. Well, we just watching it last night. Documentary old enough that he was on it.
Oh wow!
And shit, like, but he's like, he said he still goes into the water and shit too. Fucking, it's like,
Interesting.
holy shit, dude. Like,
That's cool.
Got your leg bit
face
off.
the fear, right?
You got your leg bit off by a goddamn shark, and you still like fuck. I mean, you got to do it though.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, this dude fucking survived that shit, Chris. Definitely something to be said though about the way the media reacted to all this stuff, because they're, in the beginning reluctant to even say shark attack, but then they just piled on, and then it was just like a media frenzy. And when you're talking about tourists and, as we said, a lot of money, you got a lot of pressure.
It was taking over like the media for over huge thing like the war going on and everything.
Right.
It was like on the front page of the news. It was like even in like the London Times, it got that far.
Oh yeah,
about these fucking manning shark and shit.
Right.
In the United States, killing people. It was just extravagant thing that everybody fucking wanted to know about and
right.
scared people.
Yeah, because like Joey and we've all said, it's such a rare thing to have happened there, so it makes it even more crazy. And growing up in that tri-state area, when shit happens in New York, it's fucking front and center. You're in the fucking spotlight in New York. So this is close enough to New York that I think that was probably part of it too, is you had a lot of that New York media just really going crazy over it.
They was even using like shark images and everything in the old school political comic things that they used to have or whatever.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they use this whole shark attack thing as a way to help their agenda with that too.
Yeah.
Like fucking against other parties or the shark or shit like that, dude. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it becomes a big political chip. And Joey, even in the movie Jaws, they make a big deal. It's kind of a central theme that they won't listen to the experts and the people that are running the government and the businesses and stuff. There's that conflict between the two, and that was a big thing in the movie.
That was a huge thing in the movie. That was that added such a deeper element to what was going on and helped make the story that much more realistic and better.
Right.
Because that shit, people could see that. People could understand that.
Right.
You see both sides of it. You see science trying to come in and warn these people about things that they're just not going to believe because their way of life and their way of being was such that they relied so heavily
packing those beaches.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, that tourist attraction and
hotels, restaurants. Yep. I mean, that's a lot of jobs. That's a lot of tax money coming in.
I think they said
it's a huge thing.
After that happened, so then the beaches ended up being basically wiped out. Nobody was coming to them after that. And I think they said that area lost something like $1.3 million that year, which for back then is fucking huge money.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. So I saw a newspaper article that blamed the first attack on the dog, who said the dog was in there. So the first victim, the shark was going after the dog, not the person.
Blame it on the dog.
Yeah, blame it on the dog. They were doing whatever they could to downplay it in the beginning, but by the second attack, they're already piling on and going crazy with it. So the media is just, like anything, if it bleeds, it leads. And this was bleeding all over the place, and they were loving it, and people were freaking out. July 8th, there's a press conference with shark experts from the American Museum of Natural History to try and calm people down. I used to go to that museum with my grandfather. That is such a cool fucking museum. And I was like Robbie's age, so like 6, 7, 8 ish. And I remember, like any other kid at that age, into the dinosaur.
Right.
So that was just the coolest thing, to go to the Museum of Natural History. So these guys are experts from there. And so they're warning people to stay close to the shore and in those netted areas that are being put up to protect them from the sharks. But, people just not wanting to listen, like Joey said. Chris, now one beach had it set up. Did you see this, with a steel wire fence?
Putting up the security, man.
Yeah.
They got dudes out there in boats with guns and shit and fucking
patrolling,
fucking like all the fucking stores and shit, because you could buy dynamite back in the day. They were
Right.
selling dynamite to motherfuckers. They just out there just straight like blowing up fucking everything.
Wow.
That's fucking redneck shit.
Yeah, that's like Bath, Michigan with the Pyritol.
Right. This is how we go fishing, homie. Watch, they all coming to the surface.
Yeah, so this is some craziness there. But in Mattawan, they're taking the dynamite out and just, it's just crazy. Now, Joey, President Woodrow Wilson, did you see this? He gets involved, man.
Yeah, he's from that area.
Right.
He
was the governor.
He was the governor of New Jersey. He had a fucking house out there.
Right.
Huge mansion. So, you're going to talk politics and you're going to get into it like that, and then he's going to fucking use that.
Of course.
This is all in the fucking news to begin with.
Right.
Why not insert myself?
Right. Because they called it the Summer White House, the house that he had there near the Jersey Shore. So obviously he's going to be like, straighten this shit up and now,
Yeah.
So yeah, whenever you get politics into it, it just makes it that much worse. Some experts believe the attacks were from a rogue shark that swam north to New Jersey. Some witnesses said the shark was about 9 feet long, which is wow. Blue shark was captured by several fishermen, and it was named the Jersey Maneater, which is cool. It was caught near Long Branch, New Jersey, July 14th, a few days after the attacks.
Which a blue shark could attack a human. They do attack humans, mostly open water areas. But generally, they don't have the viciousness to create the injuries that we saw occur.
Okay. Right. Okay. Also on July 14th, the taxidermist, I love this one, and former lion tamer from the Ringling Brothers
Hell yeah.
Circus caught a 7.5-foot shark.
Dude, like we were saying, like Cash told me yesterday when we were talking about this shit, that's not even a big fucking shark. Like 7.5 foot. It's not big.
Right.
It's a fucking shit.
But I mean, this dude is a fucking retired fucking lion tamer, so he's an older dude.
Yeah.
Kills the 7.5-foot shark a few miles from Mattawan Creek
with his oar.
The shark nearly destroys his boat, and he kills the fucking thing with the broken oar. I mean, that's pretty badass. Chris, it kind of reminds me of the dramatic scene at the end of Jaws, but not as cool without the explosion.
I mean, you got to get it like a propane tank down the throat and fucking. You have to. I mean, what kind of boat is he on too? Because if he was just on like a little John boat with some oars, and
that's
shit,
pretty
dude,
hairy.
Like, that's pretty sketchy right there, dude. Like, holy fuck, you don't want nothing to do with that.
No, I don't know what kind of boat he was on.
In Benchley's novel, the shark didn't die with an explosion from a shotgun. And,
oh, it did?
They fucking hooked it with the fucking lines, and they fucking ended up drowning it.
Oh, okay.
So nothing as extravagant as Quint got. I think he ended up getting thrown overboard, and drowned. But in the movie, he gets fucking bit in half up on his boat and shit. Yeah. Iconic scene, and then fucking Roy Scheider with the fucking gun, fucking. But so it wasn't nothing like that. So that was a big difference in the book to the movie. But the movie made it a bigger blockbuster.
Oh, sure.
I mean, saying summer blockbuster is an understatement because that movie blew everything out of the water. Literally. Whenever they when that movie came out, like no movie did the numbers that did.
Oh yeah, I remember it. I mean, it was just crazy to get in to see it.
Yeah.
It took quite a while before my mom took us to go check it out. So yeah, it was a good one. Chris, I mean, killing a fucking shark with an oar. That's pretty brutal.
That's hardcore, man.
That is, man. He might
work.
have to be in the cage match sometime.
For real.
And Joey, this was the one I mentioned earlier. They opened up the shark and they found some flesh and bones. Did you see that? That was pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
and 2/3 of a milk crate.
This is what I was referring to earlier. I was going to come back to. So they found about 15 pounds worth of human flesh within this shark.
And they thought one of it was the one kid's leg.
Right, the shin bone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So that's probably the case. I mean, they have experts that check that. I'm sure they knew what the flesh was. That is what brings it back to me. So after that, like, before I started looking into the story, I was under the theory, as a lot of other people, probably a bull shark because they adapt to the fresh water the easiest. So it's in this river. Not to mention, like I said, the testosterone level there. So that is a possibility. I'm not shooting that down. But the possibility that this is a 7.5 foot shark. The guy said he thought he saw an 8-foot shark from where he was standing.
Right.
That's probably pretty much the
Could
same.
be the same one.
It was a great white shark. The guy fucking taxidermied it, and fucking everybody came to see it for miles around.
Right.
And it was a great white, and they found the human remains in its stomach. So to me, I feel like, and that's a juvenile.
Right.
Juvenile great whites are fucking very highly responsible for a lot of the bites on humans.
Yeah, they're not usually the big ones.
Yeah, the big ones, they already know better.
Less aggressive.
Them younger ones, they're way more aggressive. And so
like
then
prison,
right. And if you get this one, I'm not saying that it did it to all of them, but if you got this fucking juvenile great white that gets caught in the wrong spot and it's all of a sudden in this creek and it's fucking freaking out.
Yeah, it's going to attack
anything.
It's
going to attack anything.
It's protecting itself, basically.
Exactly. So that makes all the sense to me in the world that he probably did catch the right shark. And with the human, with the meat inside of the stomach, then I feel like that's like pretty solid evidence, but nobody really knows for sure. And there's a lot of theories that include that it was a group of sharks that descended upon the Jersey Shore and did these attacks.
That it wasn't just one.
Right. And maybe they were. And, the shitty thing is because science isn't what it is then as it is now. Nowadays, they could have taken every one of those victims
DNA.
and fucking checked the bite radius, the bite marks, and figured out
if it was the same
if
shark.
it was the same one.
And now as they're tagging sharks more and more, they like location and shit.
Exactly.
True.
Yep. So I mean, it's still pretty.
I saw he displayed it in a Manhattan shop window, and there's only one known picture of it.
Right,
which is
I saw
crazy.
that. Yeah.
So that's interesting.
But what was cool about that too was, they were talking to some people that had been around back then or whatever that saw that shark and shit, and they were like, until we actually saw that taxidermy shark, we had no idea how big those creatures really were.
Right.
And like I said, that wasn't even a big one.
That was a smaller one.
Yeah,
but still, if you ain't never seen nothing like that, that's a fucking big looking motherfucker.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean it's bigger than most people. That's
exactly,
for damn sure, and that's when it gets scary.
And weighs way more than
that's true.
Say, a basketball player doesn't weigh near as much as fucking a goddamn shark.
Right. And the way these people were getting their limbs extracted, that to me fucking looks a lot like a great white more than anything else too.
Sure.
Because other things will bite you and might take a chunk, but great white with those fucking teeth they got will fucking just, dissect you.
The teeth are like sharp,
razors,
like a razor blade, literally.
Right. And I can't remember. I can't remember if they were talking to a girl before anybody got bit or anything, but that felt a creature in there with her, and she said that it felt like sandpaper.
Yes, I remember.
Which is exactly what a shark's fucking skin feels like.
Skin feels like. Yeah, it's rough and shit. Yeah.
Wow. So no further attacks happen in the area, so that's why many speculated they caught the culprit. Maybe the Jersey man-eater, don't know. There's all sorts of alternative theories. We talked about this with World War I going on. German U-boats are in the area, forcing sharks to the shore. But, most believe it was the great whites that, wouldn't have been behind this because it was inland. But like Joey mentioned, I didn't realize that the shark we're talking about here would have been a juvenile shark. So very likely could have been, or possibly could have been. And, we've talked about some of the other species. I don't know nearly about the amount that you do. Joey, so it is interesting to have your take on this. There's a lot of stuff out there, a huge number of rabbit holes you can go down. Theories.
Sharks are fucking really interesting fucking
it is.
creatures for real.
Well,
man.
yeah. And we didn't talk about it really because there's so much. There's really a lot in the story, but there was a whole bunch of people that didn't think it was a shark, period.
Really?
That they were saying it was like barracuda, and there were multiple theories that it was a fucking turtle.
Oh, wow.
A sea turtle. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Like that would be way more brutal than a shark. I don't know, but
Dude,
yeah, that's fucked up to think of a turtle being that big.
Dude, fuck, goddamn sea turtles get fucking
they are
massive,
fucking huge.
dude.
Yeah, that's
Those things
fucked
get
up.
Huge.
So, anything to add to this one, guys?
I'm good. You got anything, Joey?
the only thing I was, every time you see one of these things or a documentary, and they're like, only this many people have been killed, but we've killed millions of sharks. And like, I get that and shit, so I'm not going to go all PETA on it. But, the thing with sharks is the only attacks that ever happen with sharks are because you're in their territory.
Exactly. You're in their home.
So that's period. So you have certain people who have been attacked by sharks and shit, and you see their testimony or whatever, and almost all of them will not blame the creature because they understand that they were in the wrong.
Right.
For real, yeah.
So that's the thing about this is having a fear of an animal like that is not maybe such a bad thing because you always have to be aware of where you're at, and
right.
We're never going to stop shark attacks. Like as more
as
people go into the water,
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's just going to happen. I'm glad that, there's been a backing off of the culling and stuff like that. I think in certain situations it does make sense because sometimes populations blow up in areas, but like what they were doing back in the Jersey Shore shark attack where they just went out and were just fucking
slaughtering.
Yeah, they just had thousands upon
genocide.
Thousands of fucking dead sharks. Like
that's
completely unnecessary, and they're a huge part of the ecosystem.
Right.
So
I did my research with this one. A couple good documentaries. Also mentioned the movie I watched, 12 Days of Terror, which is good. I've seen Jaws, but it's been a while. I've seen it many times. We also watched the Sharknado movies. Now, I watched the first one and about half the second one, and I'm like, I'm out.
This is too much.
This is just too dumb.
I couldn't even make it through one, and I'm a huge shark freak. I just can't do it.
To me, it's not dumb enough to be funny. It's like kind of funny to me. So I'm like, okay, like I can't be kind of laughing.
Yeah,
it's like, either I'm laughing or I'm not. It's not serious.
The fact that
enough.
they made 7 of those motherfuckers?
Oh my god, that's like Fast and the Furious.
Jesus Christ!
Like,
man.
how do you make a movie about the same regurgitated story 100 times?
Holy
I don't know.
Shit, dude.
But hey, whatever.
You got to ride that wave. When you're popular, you got to ride that wave.
Yeah, and the cameos are kind of cool. Some of the people they put in there, so it's all right. Next week, we're going to do the interesting case of Joe Naso. This is a really interesting one. He's originally from New York, but he moves to California in the military, and he becomes a serial rapist and murderer of at least 4 women. And he does something really fucking dumb, Chris. Fucking stealing from a store.
Don't they all?
Just some dumb shit. And they gets fucking busted with a house full of mannequins dressed up in lingerie and a list of victims that he kept in this weird coded way. And the cops are like, what the fuck is going on, dude? And they start investigating, and it gets absolutely crazy.
When did this happen?
In the 2000s. I don't know when.
Oh, okay. A little more recent then.
It is very recent.
I was trying to think because the movie Maniac, which came out back in the 70s or whatever, but had the dude and he had all the fucking mannequins and shit.
Okay.
So it's like maybe they got the idea for the movie, but definitely not.
No, definitely
Maybe he got
not.
his idea for killing.
That's possible.
Maybe, yeah. So yeah, Joe Naso. And just a warning, guys, the story has something very pivotal once again to do with pantyhose. So these poor women, man, they're wearing pantyhose and they're getting fucking choked out with them. They just
Love
need
them
to
panties.
stop it. You know,
We're going
they
to get
just need to
canceled for
stop.
victim shaming.
God damn it.
But this one actually gets him busted. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good one. And, you know, he winds up getting, you know, nailed in just such an interesting way. And we'll do that one next week. And that'll be Joey's first episode from the 419.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're going to do that one with Messenger or something like that, because you won't be set up yet in your new space. But yeah, moving after that, we're hoping we're going to be able to do Zoom meetings.
Fucking right.
So you guys can watch us, interact, and talk, and that'll be cool.
Hell yeah.
All right, Joey, any good page of days for us?
You know what? I've got a good page today. It's really only one story, but it's a few parts to it. But this is a really good one, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners and probably you guys are going to know this story when I start talking about it, because it's so fucked up, and mostly because they made a documentary about it. But this is about the 2009 Taconic State Highway Parkway crash. So this is the morning of July 26, 2009. Lady named Diane Schuler. She leaves a campground in upstate New York and heads to her home on Long Island with her 5-year-old son, 2-year-old daughter, and 5, 7, and 8-year-old nieces. So she's got 5 kids in the car with her. A few hours later, she enters a northbound exit ramp to the Taconic State Parkway, blowing past multiple signs that read one way and do not enter. And for 1.7 miles, Schuler sped southbound on the parkway's northbound passing lane, going about 85 miles an hour before she crashed head-on into another SUV. So Schuler, her daughter, and 2 of her nieces died on impact, as did all 3 passengers of the SUV in which they collided. Schuler's 3rd niece was taken to a nearby hospital where she died later that day, and Schuler's son Brian, he was the only survivor. So Schuler's blood alcohol level was 0.19%, which the legal level is 0.08 there as it is here. So it showed that she had 6 grams of alcohol in her stomach that had yet to be absorbed. And blood tests showed that she had recently smoked marijuana. The cause of the accident seemed clear, but there was a lot of questions to that day that people didn't understand. So Schuler, when she left the campsite at 9:30 a.m. in upstate New York, she seemed completely sober to any other witness that was there.
Right.
According to the co-owner of the campground itself, who saw her when she was leaving, said she seemed fine. So not long after that, she stops at a gas station and a McDonald's. Employees of both of those said she showed no signs of intoxication. She was back on the road by 11 a.m., and then witnesses report seeing a red minivan like hers driving aggressively, tailgating, flashing headlights, laying on the horn, weaving in and out of lanes, just being completely, erratic, yes. So 11:37 a.m., Schuler calls her brother, the father of the nieces that she has in the car, to say that she would be late because of the traffic. And then shortly thereafter, witnesses saw Schuler by the side of the road with her hands on her knees as if she was vomiting. So she was seen in the same position a second time a bit further down the road. So 2 different eyewitnesses said that they saw her pulled over, getting sick.
Right.
Around 1 o'clock p.m., Schuler's brother gets another call. This time it's from one of his daughters, who says that Diane's having trouble seeing and speaking clearly. She confirmed to him that she felt disoriented and was unsure of where she was. And he told her to stay off the road and then they'll come meet them. So just stop the fucking car and we'll, you know what I'm saying? Right. But she didn't, and she didn't answer any further calls from him after that. So 30 minutes after she last spoke to her brother, Schuler entered the exit ramp. 2 motorists called 911 when they see the witness, when they see her van edging onto the off-ramp, and 4 more called when they saw her vehicle driving south in the northbound lane. 2 men witnessed the crash and stopped to assist. They noticed a large bottle of vodka that was right near the driver's seat. None of the children were in car seats or seemed to have been wearing seat belts. Brian, the young one, he was the only survivor of the crash. He was found underneath one of the other children.
Oh, Jesus.
The 2 men assisting at the scene, they didn't even see him at first because there was he remained hospitalized for months and broken bones and a severe head injury. He had that. The crash, it was ruled a homicide. And Schuler was named as the sole person responsible for the tragedy. So obviously no charges are pursued because she's dead.
Yeah.
Right.
In interviews with Larry King and Oprah, her husband Daniel, he adamantly denied that Schuler was under the influence at the time of the crash, despite the toxicology results. He initially claimed she never did drugs and was not drinking that weekend. He later admitted that she was drinking, but she never drank to excess. He eventually admitted that she occasionally did use marijuana for her insomnia. But his sister, she told reporters that Schuler drank heavily and smoked marijuana every day. Daniel suggested that Schuler had suffered a stroke or an embolism on the day of the crash, might have caused her to be disoriented. His lawyer said she was diabetic and may have drunk some of the vodka to raise her blood sugar level. Like, they were trying to come up with any reason they could, except that this lady just was getting lit.
Was drunker than fuck, right?
An autopsy found no evidence of a stroke, heart attack, or aneurysm, and it was later revealed that Schuler had only suffered from gestational diabetes during her pregnancy. So Daniel's insistence on disproving his wife's intoxication on the day of the crash, it received a lot of criticism from the families of the victims, especially the ones in the SUV.
Yeah, especially that.
Yep. So in June 2010, the New York State Police issued its final report on the accident, concluding that Schuler was drunk and had high levels of THC in her system at the time of the crash. In 2011, HBO released the documentary There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane, which most people have probably seen that.
Yeah, I think that's the one we watched.
Yeah, I mean, that is a brutal video, and they show, you see the crime scene. You see the accident scene. You see the bodies and shit. They show that on that documentary. It's really fucked up to see that.
It is.
So they were saying in the documentary that there's an unfounded theory, though, that she may have been suffering with a tooth abscess, which anybody that knows about tooth pain, I mean, that shit,
my God.
yeah, that shit will
It
drive you
sucks.
fucking
The worst pain
insane.
I've ever felt in my entire life.
They said that she, this is a theory, that she may not have been able to find pain medication when she stopped at the gas station, so she decided to self-medicate with alcohol and marijuana. Daniel posited that the pain, drugs, and alcohol caused a state of delirium, as drugs and alcohol tend to do, that might have led to the crash. In the documentary, Daniel and his sister-in-law said they paid an independent investigator to run another toxicology report, but the investigator had never returned their call for 9 months. When they finally did speak to him, he said that his tests reconfirmed the original report, and Daniel, to this day, continues to deny the conclusion that they gave.
Interesting.
But Taconic Parkway crash. That shit was fucked up.
Did watch that.
That
That's a
story is
fucked up
fucking
story.
crazy.
Yeah,
It's like
very
the Hart
sad.
family. You know that story?
Yeah, we talked about that one too.
Did we?
Yeah, so good page a day, man. Good
Actually, I
page a
think
day.
I did a page a day on
Actually,
that.
now you mentioned, I think it was the page.
Yeah.
The two lesbian
And Joey,
ladies.
you're going to continue page a day
Yeah,
from
oh, yeah.
afar, so
Yep.
we're going to still hear from you. on
Fuck,
the
whenever
page
I
a day.
move, it's going to be about time to order next year's.
That's
Fucking
true. That's
right.
true. All right, well, Joey, I think we've done plenty of murder tonight, so I think it's time to crank some fucking metal. So what do we need to do, brother?
Let's talk about Goremonger tonight.
Fuck yeah.
Just because CK has passed on, he's not done educating the masses. CK will forever be the great metal motherfucker. We're here to stomp poser ass and eradicate the planet of their kind. CK has passed the torch to us, and we will forge the fuck on. In CK's name, we will bestow metal knowledge upon all of you.
All right. Metal segment.
Fucking
Always.
sharks still coming in, bro.
Still
Fuck.
sharks coming in. CK, always the great metal motherfucker. He's the
Always.
inspiration behind the metal segment, of course. And tonight, Joey, you got the horns. So, Chris, have you passed the horns to
I
Joey?
have not. Check this out, though.
Our
at
3
these.
goat horns
Our fucking goat horns going right over to
going
Joey.
to
right
Joey.
here.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I do officially have the horns now.
You're gonna have to virtually do that.
Yeah, Joey, you're going to get some goat
Yeah, I
horns.
said I'm gonna have to buy myself a set and fucking pass them, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, Joey, you got the horns tonight, and you made the decision to feature your
My
own
own
band.
band, Goremonger.
Hell yeah.
I'm making a post about it right now, so I'm fucking kind of slacking a little bit. But
that's all right. Well, we're eating Pop-Tarts because that's what we do
Pop-Tarts
in the
for
metal
real.
segment.
yeah,
CK's favorite, the brown sugar cinnamon.
That's right. So if you're listening and like, what the fuck are these guys eating while they're doing this? Yeah, we are.
Every time.
Every time. Metal segment, we're talking about metal. We're eating some Pop-Tarts.
And they ain't even warm either, which is, I never fucking put these motherfuckers in a toaster.
I don't either. Jenny does, but I
generally
don't.
Eat them. I used to always eat them hot whenever I was growing up, and then after I got older and started
It's
eating
like,
them
I
cold,
just
it's
can pull them out the bag and eat these bitches. They're fucking good.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
which is funny because if you fucking read the box, it'll tell you can fucking eat them regular, heated up, or frozen.
I was just
Throw them
gonna say,
motherfuckers in the freezer.
I was
even.
just gonna say, you
wow.
haven't tried them frozen? It's fucking
No.
different. I've done it once.
I've
I was
never
like, I'm
done
good.
that. Wow, I never heard of
And I
that.
was like, no, I'm good.
I've never done it myself. I just saw it on the box. I was like,
Huh. So, yeah, we started doing this way back, I don't know, a couple years ago. What happened is I brought something out to eat because I'm diabetic, and so I got to be careful of shit, you know.
Right.
So I was getting a little low, so I would grab something to eat, and I come out, and Chris is like, man, you didn't share with the rest of the class? And I'm like, damn, I felt bad, So,
Goddamn.
so then the next time we did a podcast, I bought whatever it was. I don't know if it was granola bars or whatever it was.
Right.
It was Pop-Tarts. I bought some extras, so then this time I brought some for everybody. And then it just became a thing. And then we did it where now when it's your turn
right.
to do the
metal,
segment, you bring the
in a
food
snack.
or the Pop-Tarts, whatever. We've done other stuff. We've done cannoli. We've done some cake. We've done
Stephanie brought
cookies.
some cookies a few times.
Yeah,
Fuck dude.
419 cookies. So it doesn't have to be Pop-Tarts. But listeners, if you're listening to this, you're like, these motherfuckers are desperate. They need some Pop-Tarts. So send us some Pop-Tarts. They can be the generic ones. That's okay. We're not too proud.
Nope, not at all.
Murder Metal Mayhem, P.O. Box 554, Hayworth, Illinois, 61745. So send that shit, please.
And the funny thing is, CK, whenever he was still with us, he liked the Pop-Tarts too, but he didn't like the brown sugar and cinnamon. He said he didn't like that flavor, which
Right.
that's what we're eating right now.
Right.
And B, he did not fuck with the generic shit.
Right.
Like, if it wasn't a Pop-Tart,
Yeah, if it wasn't Kellogg's Pop-Tarts.
yeah, he didn't want to fuck with that shit.
Right.
So the last thing Pete ever sent him was a box of the fucking
Dollar
Clover
General,
Valley.
the Clover Valley, brown sugar and cinnamon was the last thing I ever sent to CK. And when he got them, this was when he was in his decline.
Right.
So I know he wasn't himself.
Right.
But all he said is, hey, I got the Pop-Tarts you sent me. And then I was waiting for him to go,
Some kind of clap
you
back.
motherfucker, or ha
Nothing.
ha ha. And he didn't say anything. And then I was like, I don't know, like if he didn't get the joke because he was in his decline. But anyway, it's
Fucking hail
just
CK.
a fitting thing I sent him for the last thing was a
Fucking
box of
right.
the Pop-Tarts he hated. I wonder if Laura just threw them away or maybe she ate them.
Right. So off on a little bit before I started the metal, but that's okay because it was CK, and CK is our metal motherfucker. So, all right. So tonight in metal, this is my last one here in the studio. I do a lot of Illinois bands and shit. This is no change. The only difference is I'm doing my own band, Goremonger. So if people that are listening don't know, I do a one-man death metal project called Goremonger. I do the sampling, drums, guitar, bass, vocals, all that shit. Now, whenever I came out and started my band, I originally said I was going to do something cyber grind because I was all into cyber grind back then, libido airbag and a catasexual urge motivation, shit like that. And then it became like really big to me to do porno grind. Like that was what we called it more than anything, I think. And like we got a lot of influences off fucking the bands that were talking about, you know, getting pussy instead of like killing women, I guess.
Right.
That was like our thing. And back then, Lividity had a shirt that says "It's not about sex, it's about pussy." And like, dude, I just fucking believe that wholehearted. So, unfortunately, and I'll talk about this as we get going, the term porno grind has become like taboo and fucking get you canceled quick as fuck.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well,
I'm
after
sure.
some
Yeah.
shit, yeah.
so if you look up Goremonger on Encyclopedia Metallum on the Metal Archives, you'll see my genre listed as brutal death metal / gore grind. I'm cool with that because that's the only reason it keeps me on the Encyclopedia Metallica, to be honest. So really, I started this band whenever I went to the penitentiary. And I talked a while back about I made it to a medium security penitentiary on my last bit. And I got knocked the fuck out and beat up because that was the stories we were telling that night. It's about whenever we got beat up.
Right.
So at that joint, they had a music room, and it was like fucking decent. Like, they had some pretty nice guitars there, and they had a drum set, and they had an 8-track recorder and like some other shit. So it was pretty decent. There were multiple times that we had like bands play on the yard or whatever. So that was pretty cool. So it was whenever I was in there messing with guitars that I technically first started writing the first songs that would become Goremonger tracks. So that was probably like 2003-ish, but I'm going to say in 2004 is whenever my band really started. And that's whenever I was living up in DeKalb and met my buddy Texas Dave, who does Sinworm. And at that time, I was just wanting to do something that other people weren't really trying to do that were around me. Like, there were other metalheads and I was hanging out with them, but the style of music they were wanting to play wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. And up till that point, I had always played bass guitar. I'd been a bassist in every band I'd been in. This was the first time that I like picked up a guitar and was like messing with these riffs that I had written. And so me and Dave were up there in DeKalb, and we're like going to shows pretty heavy back then. I'm like mid-20s back then.
Okay.
And this is whenever me and him are first starting to find the underground to where we're a part of it. Like, we're going to these shows and people are recognizing us just for being there, inviting us back to the after hour parties and all this shit. So to us, this is like fucking big shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we're like, I can't remember. We were going to some show somewhere, and I was like, man, I want to have a demo to give out at this show, which was literally in like a day or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, okay, we pull out the 8-track. Texas Dave had a little fucking know-how on that. I had a few songs. We whipped up a fucking demo called Whores These Days, which came out in 2005. It was like 4 tracks, and the last track wasn't even like completely finished. I don't think there were vocals on it or some shit like that.
Right.
Or there weren't drums on it. And the first Goremonger demo was actually Texas Dave on real drums and me on guitar and doing vocals. And there was actually a dude named Jeff Martha who was like second guitarist in that for a little bit whenever we first started. So it's funny. We fucking had these tracks. We fucking pretty much invented them, recorded them, and everything within a 48-hour period. Fucking printed up these CDRs, and fucking I used some artwork that I had drawn, at a different time. And I don't remember how many we made, probably like fucking 20 of them or something.
Right.
Passed them out. We went to the show that we were all stoked on. I know that one of the people that I don't think that anybody that got one still has one, which is funny because now, like years later, that I've gained a little bit of a following, there's people that would fucking pay a lot of money for those.
Right.
I still have a copy myself, but I think most people probably fucking threw it in the trash, to be honest. Miguel from Virulent Excision, who does Chicago Domination Fest, which is this weekend, I know I gave him one for sure, and fucking I talked to him about it like years later. He's like, "Oh yeah, I don't have that anymore." I was like, "No, I didn't think you would." But
yeah.
Anyway, so that was my demo, fucking 4 tracks, and it got the idea out of what I was trying to do. So after that, I moved back down to where my parents lived in Fairbury, Illinois, Forest, the VOF. We talked about that place to go skiing and shit.
Yeah.
And whenever I moved back down there and got myself a fucking place and shit, I was still messing with the Goremonger stuff, but I didn't really know what I was doing by that point because I just left all my musician friends where we had a practice spot and fucking gear and all kinds of shit,
right,
and moved to where now I'm sitting there like, okay, what do I do?
Right.
So I ended up buying a guitar off a kid that I worked with at the slaughter farm whenever I was there, and fucking it wasn't a BC. It was a BC Rich Warlock, which actually I brought out here to the studio.
We chopped it up.
Chopped it up with Michael's zombie tool sword. So that was cool. So that was the first I got the BC Rich Warlock with a fucking whatever practice amp. And so I had that going on. So I'm like writing the songs and shit. Had the bass already. Bonesaw, our friend from fucking Murder Complex or a ton of other things. Greg.
Alien Cattle Conspiracy.
Yeah. Greg, at that time, I was doing Chainsaw Homicide with them.
Right.
So that was the band that I was actively current in. And it was whenever I was with them that I first met Clay, who does Cemetery Rapist. Right. Clay had lived in Pasodum, which is south of Champaign, where we're at here. Clay had gone to see Putrid Pile, saw what he did as a one-man, went out the next day, bought a guitar, fucking combo amp, everything, and started Cemetery Rapist. Like, he saw what he did, he wanted to do it. So whenever I was with Chainsaw Homicide, we played a couple shows with Cemetery Rapist, some of his first ones, I think.
Yeah, we did a show with him, at least one.
So, I seen what he was doing. I was like, okay, me and him got along. We were friendly and shit. So we started, we were both into the brutaler shit. We could tell that. So that was like our connection. We started hanging out. And then, like I said, Greg, fucking Bonesaw, I was in Chainsaw Homicide. He comes over to my place in Forest one day, and he's got this fucking DR5 fucking drum machine, which is a really fucking primitive one. Right. One of the first, but it's kind of fucking cool that's how it was. I learned to use that. Right. And he came over, he's like, man, I don't know how to fucking use this thing. If you can figure it out, fucking be down, And, just by talking to Clay and Elisis, which is like the most user friendly at the time, just talking to him and like learning some shit, all of a sudden, I'm putting together some tracks.
Right.
And I remember like the first couple that I put together, I was so fucking geeked on.
Hell yeah,
I was like calling Clay right away, like over the phone, like, listen to this, man, listen to this shit. I'm so fucking excited, Right. And it was just fun fucking making music. So I had that going on. Clay was doing his thing. He was coming up, and we just started creating something together. And then 2007 fucking comes around, and I put out my first full length, and it was called Porn Reels from the Cornfields. It was like, I think it's 11 tracks, maybe 12, something like that. But it's old shit. Like, I hear people now talk about that it's a classic album. To me, it's like, I'm kind of embarrassed by it because it's like, the quality is just shit.
Yeah, you always hate the early stuff.
Right, so that's just me, myself. But I know how it is because I listen to other people's albums.
Right.
And I like their old shit too. So I get how it is. But when I made that album, that was just me fucking having fun. There was no other incentive to that album except I was having fun doing it and creating it. So maybe I think that's what comes through on it, which is awesome.
Right.
Also in 2007, I ended up doing a split with a band out of Massachusetts called Badussi, and it was the Pound and Pig split, and that was pretty awesome. It was around this time that I had started doing more shows, so I went up to Sheboygan, played Sheboygan Death Fest, played a show with Dead in Solidification. I did that as Chainsaw Homicide. But anyway, with Goremonger, I was starting to do some more shows. Went down to Louisville, Kentucky. And it was just me starting to get into the scene, which was really fucking cool.
Right.
Also, while I'm doing this, I'm starting to fucking premiere my artwork and get that out there because that's a big part of my life too. And I've done most of the album covers for a lot of the albums on my label. Including Clay's shit. So people started seeing that. So, now I'm a pretty established artist in the scene, but that was like my beginning. So that was cool.
Yeah.
So after that, after I did the Pound and Pig split, I ended up moving. I moved down to Texas with Texas Dave. Went down there to work. Illinois was a fucking bust. It was fucking killing me. So I was like, I got to go. So I had half an album written whenever I went down there. And I finished up the rest of it. Now, there's people who are like, you only do this shit, or your music's only about trying to be offensive and, this and that. And man, back then, when I was doing these songs, that's exactly what it was about. Like, I'm not trying to candy coat that.
Right.
I fucking sat
I wanted
there.
To be the most offensive motherfucker
I sat there and
is.
I'm like writing lists. I'm like, what are the shit that pisses the people off the most? And I know how much shit can get me canceled nowadays, so I'm not going to get into all that. But It was just, that's the way it went, because whenever I was coming up, I was attracted to the albums that I wasn't supposed to listen to.
Right.
That's the shit. That was like the forbidden shit. And, people might not want to hear it, but that was some of the sickest shit that was coming out too. So it's just the way it was. So
True.
I ain't gonna lie. So whenever I put out my second full length in 2009, Fucking Hate Cunts, it was written half in Illinois, half in Texas. That album to this day is probably my most offensive album that I've ever put out. It's rude as fuck. It's fucking just, it is. It's just trying to pick. Yeah, it's just trying to pick.
I love
the
shirt, Violence of the Slams. I got the shirt and shit.
But people love that album too. So like my first two fucking full lengths did pretty well. I put out a couple other little splits, 4-ways and stuff like that. I did a split called an EP, I guess, called He Who Walks Behind the Rose. Now, this is after I left Texas, so I was down there. I put out Fucking Hate Cunts. I was in a band called Decrepitaph, which is a 90s era fucking death metal sounding project, which was fucking awesome. Check that out if you fucking don't know about Decrepitaph. Straight death metal. But I got myself into some fucking shit while I was down in Texas. I was hanging around with some of the wrong people and shit, and fucking the law was on my ass. Yeah, so I had to get the fuck out of there. So I ended up hitting up Clay, and Clay had moved to Missouri by this point. His dad was living out there. He was like, man, we'll get an apartment. We'll come out here. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, he was helping me out. He helped me out big time. I ended up getting a bus ticket, like selling some of my fucking shit. I sold all my Goremonger shit while I was in Texas. My guitar, my amp, my drum machine, all that shit went to a fucking pawn shop. I got a bus ticket to Kansas City. Clay was doing a tour, so he picked me up in Kansas City. I went up to the shows in like Minneapolis, Wisconsin, and then he dropped me off at my parents back in Illinois. And then fucking we ended up moving out to Missouri right after that. But so while I was out there, I didn't have no gear. But I was living with Clay, so I was using his shit. So I recorded He Who Walks Behind the Rose, which is an EP. It was all recorded on Clay's gear, so if you listen to it, sonically it sounds almost more like Cemetery Rapist at parts than Goremonger, but that's why. I originally released that EP as a split with The Secret Life, who's my buddy Tyler Geen from Mattoon, who was in Slough. He ended up passing away at an early age, 24. But there was some drama with that, and some of the people came out afterwards like, oh, you're putting out a dead guy's shit and this and that. And I'm like, well, I talked to some guys off the label and they were like cool with it because they understood I was just trying to get the music out. But because there was an issue, I just fucking, I cut the fucking, I fucking killed the fucking EP. Yeah. And stopped production on it. So some people did get it. But then I ended up taking the songs and putting it out with Sinworm, with his EP, This Side of Sin, the other ones. So that's available, but that's awesome. All right, so you keep going along, 2010, I'm in Missouri. I hated it in Missouri. I ain't gonna lie, I fucking hated it. But there was some cool places to play some shows. Went out to the Cesspool Castle in Joplin, Missouri, which recently fucking burned down, which is a sad situation. But I had the opportunity then to move out to California. So I had a buddy who I had never met in my life, in real life, but just through the music shit, and he was in a band called Wolf and Guts out in fucking Huntington Beach, California. He was like, man, you come out here, play guitar for me, we can fucking chill at the practice spot and all this shit, and like made it sound all fucking good. All
fucking good and shit.
Yeah, and I moved out there for real, like out to Huntington Beach, California. I was all stoked, and still no guitar or nothing like that, and this dude was he was something else. I'm not going to fucking sit here and bash him fully, but he would wake up and just start fucking boozing and looking at porn nonstop. So not much was going to come out of that. Right. So while I was out there, I was writing music for his project and fucking around with my own shit. One small classic thing about being in Huntington Beach was the place that we fucking jammed at, the practice spot, was called Griff Dog Studios. And like Korn practiced there back in the day, and Orgy, and so that was cool being in the same halls as some of the bigger people or whatever.
Right.
But so that didn't work out for me in California, and I had to move back to Illinois in 2010. So I fucking came back. Oh, while I was out there though in Huntington Beach, I fucking bought a Jackson Kelly and just a little combo amp and shit, and I had a laptop. So I had shit going on. I was recording a little bit of shit. Sonically, it wasn't sounding good. Plus, I hadn't hit my stride in how to record all this shit. So, it was a little bit a little iffy, but some songs did come out of that time period. So I moved back to Illinois, 2010. really 2011. It was like Thanksgiving of 2010 I moved back, so basically 2011. And so now I got all these songs that I'm sitting on. Wolf and Guts tracks, a few Goremonger tracks. I'm like, fuck that. All these are going to be Goremonger tracks. Because I didn't just write these for no fucking reason, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not just going to fucking scrap all this shit that I did. So he didn't want to do nothing with it. They all became Goremonger tracks. So I started writing for my third full length, and it was called Regurgitate, Fornicate, Repopulate. When I put out this album, I was like, man, I want to give my fans the biggest bang for their buck. If they're going to buy my CD off me, they should have as much as I can offer. So I made the CD. It's like fucking 80 minutes long.
Wow.
Like over an hour for the shit that I do. That's a fucking long
Yeah,
album.
that is a long album.
I never did
Especially
that again.
when you got
after
like
that.
minute songs and shit. Like
I never did that again after that. My mixtapes are fucking really long, but that's just a compilation of fucking tracks. Speaking of which, the first mixtape, first A-Ray Projects mixtape came out in 2010 while I was in Missouri too. That's whenever I first did it. That's because I came out of Texas and I was listening to all them rap mixtapes and fucking super influenced by that. And fucking I was like, hell yeah, let's do that.
I could take all tracks I was in on from other shit and fucking put them all together.
Also, let me back up a little bit. 2006, when me and Clay started our record label, FTA Records, Fuck the Ass Records, we started that strictly as a means for us to put out our own music because nobody else was fucking with us on that level. So we're like, well, this is how we're going to get our shit out. And so we created our label, which I'm still doing to this day. In 2010, whenever I ended up moving out to California, Clay told me to just go ahead and take the label over. He didn't want to deal with it no more. I was always a bigger part of the business aspect of it. So it just made sense, which is fine. So anyway, I put out Regurgitate, Fornicate, Repopulate. It's long as fuck. People were digging it, though. I was hitting my stride a little more how I was going to record shit and everything else. I ended up fucking moving back here and getting a better guitar, better cab, fucking better, interfaces and all kinds of shit. So then I had it fucking going on. I continued the label and I was pushing that hard. So I'm doing FTA Records the whole time that I'm up here. At this point, I've got 70 albums fucking on the catalog. That's quite a bit.
Yeah,
when me and Clay parted ways, I think we were on 11 or 12. So
yeah, and you yourself put this together after that. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I'm still fucking putting out shit. Fucking it's going into like 2012, 2013. I did a couple fucking splits with BTK and Fetal Autopsy, who are technically the same band. And then 2013 rolls around and I put out my fourth full length, which is called Pointless Species Extermination. That one's a fucking good one.
Yeah, it is.
That one, I really feel like that was the first one where I was like, okay, that's my sound. That's how I want to record shit. And every album since then, I think, has been, basically along those lines. It was a little bit away from the fucking grittier fucking lo-fi sound and started trying to find a little bit better ways to make my shit sound good.
Sure.
Also, 2013, I released my fifth full length, which was the first Horror Flicks album, which obviously is a fucking collection of songs about horror movies. I'm currently writing for the third one of those.
And Jaws is on there, y'all.
Yeah. 2015, I put out a compilation, which is called The Splits, which is basically all the Split albums that I had done up to that point that were sold out and out of press. I took all my Goremonger tracks, put them onto one album.
Gotcha.
The album cover is the famous Ed Gein barn picture.
Nice.
The Splits. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm doing a second Splits coming up here pretty soon. I'm going to use, because that was black and white, so I'm going to use another black and white. It's going to be the Black Dahlia picture.
Nice.
Splits. So continuing on in 2015, also after the Splits, I put out this badass three-way split that I put out on FTA Records, and that was with Putrefied J and Aborning, which is the homies from Georgia.
Right.
Oh, we all know Aborning, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking
Scum
Josh
gang.
been fucking part of the show.
So 6 full lengths coming up 2016. I put out the fucking, what I think is one of my best albums is Horticulture with a W.
Yeah.
Horticulture.
Horticulture.
I think that's one of my best full lengths. That was just where I was fucking strictly writing the songs for how they were. I took a lot of time with them. I learned new ways to record the guitars. And after that, people were like, damn, that fucking sounds way better than your other shit. And I'm like, cool. I also changed the drums up through that point. Just learned a lot more.
You can't go without the...
Right.
Gotta have the clap.
I got the clap.
You got to have the clap.
And it's funny because Shawback, like, he'll be like the car guy. He'll listen to my songs, with me as they're coming along or whatever. And there was one time, I think it was whenever I was doing fucking the Regurgitate Fornicate album. He was listening to me. He's like, man, you're overkill on the clap. He's like, there's too much clap in that shit. And so fucking that made me think about it. I was like, okay, man, I'm going to back off on that. So I did. I fully backed off, but I still keep it every now and then.
Yeah, it's got to be there. But...
It's in there. Yep. All right. So, okay, after Horticulture, 2017, I put out The Consumption of Those We Love, split with Slamophiliac. I put out Excellent and Excrements, which is a 3-way. I did with Gonorrhea Breath and Methadone Abortion Clinic, and I also put out the Snuff Films EP, which that one had songs all about people that fucking videotape their kills. Leonard Lake, I did a Ken and Barbie, 3 Guys, 1 Hammer. Yeah. So
3 Guys, 1. That's what it was. Yeah.
So then, come out with my 7th full length in 2018, and that was The Sickening Paradox of Reality. That's another really good one. I think that one's fucking worth listening to. Whenever people first come in to listen to Goremonger that don't know what they're listening to, and they're like, oh, man, suggest me a CD or something like that, I usually hit in this area.
All right.
I'll give them the older shit like later on after they're like cool with the other shit.
It's cleaner.
Yeah. So Sickening Paradox of Reality came out. I did the album cover. I drew it, but my buddy Nev, who does gruesome graphics, he did all the colors on it. So that was like a fucking cool collab.
Yeah.
I put out Tales of Horrific Mayhem after that. That was with Oregon Trail and VHS, which is the homies from up in Canada. I also in 2018 put out Disgorging Putrid Chapter, which that's my favorite split that I've released.
Indonesia shit.
Yep, and that was with Minstrel Disconsumed from Indonesia. My songs were more, I wrote them as brutal death metal songs. Like in my mind, that's what I was going for with those.
Right.
And people fucking definitely commented they could tell. So I thought that was cool. Let me also say, way back on Regurgitate, Fornicate, Repopulate, I fucking put my lyrics in the booklet.
Oh, yeah.
For the first time, I put some of the tracks, the lyrics in there. Because for the most part, most people are like, oh, you don't even have lyrics, you just make noises. And I'm like, no, actually, I write lyrics to all my songs, but that's cool that you don't recognize that.
Right.
So I put all my fucking lyrics in the booklet for that. Nobody cared. So I didn't fucking care anymore. Like, I always told people, if you want to see my lyrics, I'll email them to you. Like, I can send you the files. For the Disgorging Putrid Chapter split, I did put the lyrics in that because that's how they were doing the layout and they wanted them like that.
Right.
And I was like, that's cool, so the lyrics are in that album. I put out Grinding for the Goat in 2018 or 2019. That was the split with Ectomy. I put out the split or the EP in 2019 called Laughable. That's another one of my favorites. And what that was is I had a buddy named Curdy Bird that I worked with. He was a younger kid, and he had these rap tracks and shit, these trap tracks, and he gave me those, and I put music over them, and I included some of his fucking raps in a couple of the songs. Then my buddy Gordo from Chicago, he did fucking rap on one of the songs. But I wrote that album after a pretty shitty breakup or fucking whatever. And so that was like pure emotion in that fucking EP. So that's why I like that one a lot.
That's cool.
Keeping it going, 2019. Man, I've been around for fucking 18 years and put out 10 full lengths, so it is kind of a longer segment. So thank you guys for sticking with it. But so 2019, I put out my 8th full length. This is Horror Flicks 2, the sequels. Every song on Horror Flicks 2 is a part 2 of the franchise. So the whole thing is like Friday the 13th Part 2, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Revenge.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. Whenever I'm doing Horror Flicks 3, which is what I'm doing right now, and I've got all the songs like basically mapped out, I was like, there's no way that there's enough part 3s that I want to do a whole fucking full length. I was like, so I'm going to do like a handful of part 3s and then like a bunch of newer horror movie, not newer, but just ones that I hadn't done songs for yet.
Reboots maybe or some shit.
Yeah, but then whenever I started doing it, I fucking have enough tracks, part 3s for a whole fucking album.
Fucking right, dude.
So
That's
when that
awesome.
comes out, it'll be like that. I will say on the Horror Flicks album, so I've had a couple guests that were on those that were like continuing. And I just wanted to shout out my buddy Braxton Kaiser from Between the Killings. He's done all the Evil Dead songs. So he did Evil Dead 1 and 2, and then now we're going to do the Army of Darkness. My buddy Bob Shaw from Cuff
Obviously.
and Existential Dissipation, and he passed away, sadly. But he was real big into the Alien shit, so he did Alien and Aliens on Horror Flicks 2. And he would have done Alien 3, but sadly he passed away to cancer. But I got something in line for that. It's a mutual friend of ours that's going to do it.
That's cool.
In 2019, I also put out the EP Psycho, which was basically a Horror Flicks EP because it was all 4 fucking Psycho movies, and I did a track for each one. Psycho's my favorite horror movie franchise, so that's why I did that. I also did one on a Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
Because I did a split with one of Jesse's bands where they did all Night of the Demons songs. And I did Sleepaway Camp. That was called Sleepaway Demons of the Night Camp.
Sleepaway Demons of the Night Camp. I love it.
So 2020, this is 2020. I think this dropped early 2020. My 9th full length called The Road Not Taken. Because the pandemic shit hadn't happened. None of the pandemic shit had happened yet on this one.
Right.
So this is right before that. So I put out The Road Not Taken. Also, I probably one of my best albums that I put out. A lot of really good tracks on that.
And then,
so that was my 9th full length. And then 2021, I finally released my last full length, which is called Disfiguring the Narrative, which is
my God,
my 10th full length. Good. And that one's really good. Now, Disfiguring the Narrative is, I started writing that and like I zipped through like the first half of it, like boom, super fucking fast. And then I fucking didn't touch it for almost a year. And then fucking ended up coming back and finishing it. But I think it was just because the fucking everything that was happening with the COVID and all that shit that was going on in the world. I wasn't in the right mind. I don't know what the deal was. And it just took me a really fucking long time to fucking finish it. But I'm really proud of that one because
there's a lot of things going on with that album.
I touched on a few political issues in that album, which I've never done before. Not one way or the other, but I definitely made songs referencing things that were happening.
Right.
And also I made it a point, like my whole thing was I was trying to make a fully inclusive album. And I wanted to have people from so many different backgrounds that fucking helped out on the CD, which there were, that when people listen to it, it's people that you might not agree with because of this reason or this reason. They might not agree with you for this or that. But if you listen to my album and you can dig that whole thing, that's all them people coming together to make
collectively
that
happen.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I had dudes that were Antifa on there. I had a fucking police officer on there. I had a mixed dude on there, white dude. I had a fucking Asian dude, Latino dude. I had fucking banjo on there. Had female. I mean,
getting everybody on.
I
this
had right wing people, left wing. Like I tried to seek out people that felt strongly about certain things in one area, just to help on it, just so I could make the full album. So
that's cool. Man.
Anyway, that's like all my albums. I've done a shitload of fucking shows. I've played in tons of fucking major cities in the U.S. Played with a lot of bands. I'm currently about to play my second full Terror Assault this year.
That's awesome.
So that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I know that my shit's fucking an acquired taste, and it's for a very small select few people.
It's not for everybody.
Right, and that's why I don't fucking tend to talk about it too much on the podcast. But I thought, if you guys want a little more insight into what I do.
Oh, yeah, and we have listeners that dig that shit, obviously.
Yep.
So that's cool, man.
So that's Goremonger, man.
Hell yeah.
18 years and still going.
That's awesome. And that's how many years I did Low 12, and I can attest to what you were talking about with the recording. Man, we did everything DIY, and holy shit, that was hard to do.
Yeah.
Especially with the full band and drums and everything. Trying to work with software you don't know how to use and just fucking your way through it. And sometimes, the stuff turned out okay, but it was, there were a couple albums that are like cringing.
Yeah.
But, we eventually got it together and worked with people that knew what they were doing, So very cool. Well, Chris, what about the Lost Classic tonight?
Lost Classic. I got from 2002, which is hard to believe. That's 20 fucking years ago. Fucking 4-song EP. Fucking Dillinger Escape Plan with Mike Patton. Fucking Irony is a Dead Scene. That EP, when I first got that, those 4 songs, I was just like, holy shit, this is way different.
Those guys are nuts,
and
man.
I fucking love it. Yeah, and it was like a transition between fucking Dillinger's vocalists when they recorded this EP. They just had Mike Patton in there for a minute just for that. That was it. So it's pretty badass. Check out that EP. Irony is a Dead Scene.
Okay.
Dillinger Escape Plan.
Fuck yeah.
Good EP.
Very cool. Well, Chris, what else you been listening to lately other than Dillinger?
Well, shit. Last night we was listening to fucking motherfucking Shadow
Polka
of
Dot?
Intent.
Oh, yeah.
Shadow of Intent. Polka Dot Cadaver.
Yeah.
Some Dog Fashion Disco. 12-Foot Ninja. Fucking. That's what we were listening to last night. Today I was just listening to random fucking podcast shit.
Right.
But
that's cool.
Other than that, I just listen to stuff.
Lots of random things.
Yeah, just randomness all the time.
That's all right. Joey, what about you, man?
I'm gonna do a review on this album coming up here pretty soon, but the band Awaken the Misogynist, shit is fucking heavy as balls. So I've been jamming that.
Is that one we got from Imperative
Yeah,
PR?
that's the newest one I'm fin to do.
God damn.
So that's really good. I got some fucking I got some Black Flag in the car right now. I was jamming that on the way here. Fucking hadn't listened to that for a bit. Fucking just still jamming the Prophecy. And I'll tell you something that I really like. The song's good. It's not like fucking, it doesn't blow my mind, but the song's decent, but the video's awesome, and it's the new Megadeth Night Stalkers.
Dude, I want to check
so
that
fucking
out.
good. That video is
it
fucking
good?
And it's the
dope,
second
dude.
chapter. There's like a chapter before it too. So I'm not sure if like they're doing like a mini...
Oh, like Slayer
Like a
did
mini-series.
with the videos
Right.
that all tie
And
together.
Dave Mustaine's like executive producer on all of it. So,
Yeah, dude,
wow.
no, it's so fucking good.
Wow.
but no,
I'll have
I
to
mean
check
the
it
song
out.
is good. Like the riffs are fucking they're Megadeth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sick bass lines, all that shit.
Fuck yeah.
No, you should check it out for sure.
Yeah,
Dave even gets a
definitely.
little lower on his vocals every now and again too.
It might have to now.
Well, yeah, there's that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. I've been jamming this new Battle Grave. It's a 2-man project. They brought in the drummer for Goat Whore. So he's from Australia, and these guys are from Australia. It fucking kills. It's called Cavernous Depths.
Hell yeah.
It's badass. The artwork is amazing because it's done by Sean Ferrugia of In
Right.
Malice's Wake. It's an actual oil painting that he did for these guys. But that album is so wicked. I'm getting ready to do a review of that, and it's fucking badass. So I actually bought it on Bandcamp and downloaded it. It's just killing it. So definitely digging those guys. And I've been listening to a few different things, but that's been kind of dominating it lately here. All right, bands, if you're in a band and you want us to check you out, send your information, your links, what have you, to Pete at murdermetalmayhem.com. And there's no guarantee we're going to play it on the show, but we'll listen to it. And if we like it, we'll maybe do something else. We'll review it or talk about you on here or what have you. So I'd love to hear from you guys. We're all about indie metal and underground metal. Me and Joe, we were just talking about, DIY and what that's all about.
Right.
So we love that stuff. So if you'd rather do it old school and want to send us a physical copy of something, you could send that to
Love
Murder
them
Metal
physicals.
Mayhem, P.O. Box 554, Hayworth, Illinois, 61745. And stickers are cool if you want to throw them in. Maybe we'll throw it on the door. And Pop-Tarts, always welcome.
Pop-Tarts always
Any
welcome.
kind, we don't care. I got the horns next time, and if everything goes right for Sunday, because I got an interview lined up Sunday, which is definitely cutting it close, but if it works out, I'm going to do the band Traitor from Germany. They're really good. Thrash band. They remind me a lot of Creator, Sodom, Destruction, the German thrash. But these guys are really great. And the bass player's super cool. So hoping it works out. And so that'll be my next band. The 666 Club, guys, we talk about it a lot.
Patreon. You gotta check that shit out.
Yeah, Patreon.
Patreon on.
You could support the show and help us pay the bills. It's $3 a month. That's all it is. Murder Metal Mayhem Patreon page. So we'll link to that in the episode description, but it's patreon.com/Murder Metal Mayhem.
Something real quick. It was pretty cool. I listened to this fucking one channel on YouTube called Crime Circus.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of interrogations. Which I like the interrogation videos. So, you know, I only sub to a few pages on there. I'm not I don't watch a ton of shit, mostly just research for the podcast. But I sub a few channels that I like. And his channel is one of the only ones that, like, he fucking responds back to almost, like, any comments or whatever.
Oh, that's
He's
cool.
really good about that. And his fucking channel is really fucking interesting. He has a lot of interrogations I've never seen anywhere else. But he was fucking doing a premiere, and fucking I commented on his post about the premiere. You know, like, oh, yeah, I'm stoked to see it. I'm going to check it out as soon as the premiere comes on. He's like, hey, thanks, yada, yada. And so I hit him up. I was like, hey, man, I'm just putting it out there. I do dark art, and I would love to do a fan logo for you. You don't have to use it or anything. I just don't know how I would show it to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he fucking hit me up. He's like, oh, here's my fucking email, yada, yada.
Oh,
send
cool.
it to me. So I was like, cool. So I did a fucking logo and a little caricature of him.
Yeah.
And sent it to him. And I was like, oh, I don't even know if he'll even check it, you know, or whatever. But he hit me right back right after that. He was like, man, you got fucking skills, bro. That's fucking dope. Thank you for doing that.
Oh,
and I told
yeah.
him, I was like, you know, this is just kind of like me thanking you for what you do, because I can't join everybody's Patreon, but I still want you to know that I appreciate it. So he liked that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And I said, if he gives me a shout out, I'm going to fucking post it around.
Fucking
People
right.
check it out.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Very cool. All right, well, we have done plenty of metal tonight. So, Chris, what the fuck do we need to do?
Let's get our mayhem on, but I gotta fucking piss first.
I was just on the phone with somebody. We're stuck in the water and there's a shark.
Ma'am, where is the shark?
I don't know. He bumped me out of my boat.
It was a seal?
No, there's something in the water.
Okay.
There's a fucking great white. What if he comes back? We're really scared.
What's up, dudes? Are you looking to bring some fun into a birthday party? What about a graduation party, man? Here at Sharks R Us, we can really put a bite into that event of your choice. We have hammerheads, brah, bull sharks, and even a fine selection of fucking great whites, man, complete with 300 Ranger Shark teeth.
We rented a great white from Sharks R Us for my saltwater pool party. It was great. My father-in-law lost his left arm, and the children had a glorious time finding all the pieces to put it back together. Thank you, Sharks R Us.
Dude, you don't have to wait for Shark Week to have some fun wrestling with a bull shark or practicing your swimming as you flail away to get away from a hungry hammerhead.
Hey, I surprised my wife with a shark for our 10th anniversary. The look on her face was fucking priceless, as her legs were being chewed off by two great whites. They even had a photographer to capture the moment, and we used it as a fucking Facebook profile picture for months.
Hey, bro, just call us today at Sharks R Us, 800 Human Snack. Mention this ad and get 10% off your rental and a free gram of weed.
Oh boy, we did that one a little bit ago, so it's funny
you can
hearing
tell
that again.
because you could tell that's after I had lost my teeth before I got my new ones.
So yeah, that was fun. And before that, some Goremonger, man. Joey, what was that song?
That was Human Flesh for Fish Food.
Fuck yeah,
Fucking
very
right.
cool and good segment, Joey. I'm sure a lot of fans that maybe are familiar with you love that.
Yeah.
And I bet there's a good group of them that never heard of you before that are now going to go check it out. So
go listen.
Hell yeah, very cool.
Give us some love.
All right, we're in mayhem now, and Joey, you wanted to put out something about a show coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
We didn't mention it, Mel.
Yeah, none of us really got no mayhem stories, so that's fine. But I just wanted to put out, I'm going to get into some mayhem this weekend because it's Chicago Domination Fest 7.
Hell yeah.
July 28th, 29th, and 30th. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Up in Lombard, Illinois. Chicago Domination's always like some of the fucking heaviest hitters in brutal death metal. And this year they don't disappoint. I'll just shout out the bands real quick and we'll move on.
Yeah.
But Pyrexia, who y'all know I fucking...
Pyrexia,
that new album's so good, New York. But Pyrexia, Mortal Decay, To Violently Vomit, who's used to be Disgorge. Abolishment of Flesh, Vulvectomy from fucking Italy. So fucking stoked to see them again. Gorgasm from Chicago, Amputated Generals from Colombia, Kill Everything from Texas, who was also on the new review that I just did. Cerebral Incubation from Vegas, Condemned, Incinerate, who Jesse Watson, who we did an interview with him, he's the vocalist for that band. Sarcophagy, Wormhole, them dudes are sick. Insidious Discrepancy, who's fucking Sean Whitaker from down in Texas. Lust to Decay, we know them fucking cats.
Oh yeah.
Flesh Hoarder from Texas, Sexual Atrocities, that's the homies. Stabbing, fucking one of the biggest bands to come out recently from
Yeah, they're
Texas.
fucking dope right now.
Shuriken Cadaveric Entwinement, which I just did a review on that new album. Virulent Excision, Miguel's band, Reviled from Texas. Archaeological Genocide from Texas. Fucking Rottenness from Mexico. Deflowered, they're fucking doing a comeback fucking show basically from Texas. That's my
I didn't think
homies.
they were doing anything for a while.
Yeah, so they're on that show. Putrid Womb, Postmortal Possession, Wounds, a couple other ones, Glutton for Punishment, Carnographer. But yeah, fucking Chicago Domination Fest this weekend.
That does not sound like a hair metal band.
No.
No, not at all. Hell yeah, dude. Sounds fucking brutal as hell. All right, well, we have a very special Killer Cage match tonight. So what we typically do, we have a list of 75 killers, 75 objects for them to fight with. And we have our listeners provide some random numbers. But this time we did it a little differently.
Yeah, it's
I've
different. I
held
don't
the
know what the
secret
fuck's
from
going
you
on.
guys of what I've got up my sleeve here. But before we get into that, we want to thank some listeners,
Once
Chris.
again, here we go. We got the homie Gomo Wall Bacon down there in Paint or not
Paina.
Paint. Yeah, Paint.
Illinois.
God damn, I'm stupid. Fucking Michael Draymond. Fucking
Fuck yeah.
Fuck you.
fuck you. Get fucked, Pete. The fucking the homie Rebecca Boomsock. So thank y'all
Oh,
once
yeah.
again, dude. Y'all are fucking great.
Yeah, and we've got a very special one tonight that since, Joey's last show here in the studio, I wanted to put a little twist on the Killer Cage match. So I'm going to pull up, I've got a special file here that I kept secret from you guys. So here's what we're going to do for this special match, okay?
Alrighty then.
So I asked the listeners to provide the random numbers, okay? And this time I decided, Chris, that Joey's fighting in the fucking cage.
Oh shit.
Okay, so Joey's in the cage tonight, but since it's a shark episode, it's not a cage but a tank with sharks fucking swimming in it.
Oh shit.
And you're going to be on a fucking raft, like a inflatable fucking raft inside this fucking tank, fighting somebody else.
Oh shit.
Floating in a fucking tank or on a
raft or whatever.
On a raft in the tank, okay?
Like a kayak, say.
Pretty much, sure, whatever you want. Raft, kayak, whatever. And Joey, you are going up against none other than Charles fucking Manson.
Oh, there we go.
So you and Charles Manson are fighting in a cage on rafts with sharks swimming around you. and you've got two objects to fight with. All right.
I hope they float.
You got a
They all
shake
float
weight.
down here.
That don't float.
That could be interesting. Shake weight. And then a fence post wrapped in barbed wire, which could be deadly with the raft.
Oof, yeah.
So, and the variable to even add to the craziness, 5 piranha are swimming around in the water.
No, I ain't worried about them piranhas and sharks.
All right, so Chris, we got Joey and Charles Manson fighting on rafts in a shark tank with a fence post wrapped in barbed wire and a shake weight. And 5 piranha swimming in the tank, too.
All right, so they're out there on the water, right? Fucking Manson's just hired and shit. Like, just don't know what the fuck's going on. I mean, Cashman's hired and shit, too. I mean, that's a given. They're both fucking
They
high
might
as
even
fuck.
get high together.
Right.
You know.
They're probably both high.
Joey,
as
would
shit
you get
anyway.
high with Charles Manson? I mean,
Obviously. I'd have him fucking follow my orders.
Right? Yeah, you listen to me, bitch. So he's hired and shit. They're both hired and shit. Then Cashman just looks at him. He's like, fuck this guy. So he goes out there. He swims out to the fucking... I'm assuming there's a raft with the fucking weapons on there. That way they're not sinking, right?
Right.
He fucking just paddles his way out. He just grabs a shake weight and fucking just throws that into the water, says fuck it, and fucking paddles back with the fucking fence post and just smashes Manson over the head and real quick, just so he's alive after he fucking puts the fucking hole in the thing, lets the sharks come and get him, and the piranhas get the leftovers. Cashman wins.
Okay.
That's where I'm going. Cashman wins.
I mean, I think definitely Joey's got the upper hand on Manson.
For real.
You know, Manson was a little motherfucker. And Joey's a tough guy, and Joey can handle it. Joey, what do you think, man?
I think what's going to happen is you're going to ring that bell, and first off, I'm scared to fucking death because there's fucking sharks and piranhas underneath me.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? This is the worst situation to be in. So I'm kind of freaking out. Charles Manson's so fucking high.
He's just
and the
nuts,
sharks
man.
don't fucking fit in with his fucking helter-skelter plan anyway, so he don't care about that.
Right.
So he's just floating on the raft, and fucking we see them weapons, so I grab the fence post wrapped in barbed wire.
Right.
Manson grabs that shake weight. He's like, hey, man, are we really going to get in this fight, man? And I'm like, no, I don't want to fight you, Charlie Manson. I would rather hang out with you. Check this out. And I grab that fence post with the barbed wire, and I start playing it like a bass. Like, boom, 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 boom.
Right.
And he fucking looks over. He's like, damn, that's tight. And I was like, man, get that shake weight, bro, and you can do some drumming type shit.
Rhythm section.
So he was like, oh, hell yeah. So before you know it, it's like a fucking jam band on the water. I got that fucking, that post, and Charles Manson's got that fucking shake weight, and fucking, we're going at it, man, having a good time. He's like, man, this is better than any music I ever made. This is fucking awesome. And I'm like, hell yeah, man. Now check this out. And while he ain't paying attention, fucking layway him upside the fucking head with that goddamn fence post,
Right.
knock him into the fucking water. Shark's been fucking waiting. The shark's like, hey,
yeah.
Cashman, you know that I could have just knocked you guys off these stupid ass rafts and ate you, right?
Right.
So I was happy that you fed me. So he fucking grabs up Charles Manson and starts fucking devouring him. There's blood all in the fucking water. So now the fucking piranha are fucking tripping too.
Oh, yeah.
Me and the shark are kind of cool, but not after the fucking food's gone because he's fucking still hungry. So he's
Right.
going to start looking at me. So I'm on this fucking bullshit ass raft with fucking piranhas just circling me. A huge ass shark about to take me out from underneath. And fucking, luckily at the last minute, my homie Fonzie comes over, flies over with the motorcycle over the shark tank,
Oh, nice.
grabs me by the hand and rescues me. And me and
Fonzie.
Fonzie go get wasted.
Bro.
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah. You're like leather Tuscadero out
Right,
there in
right.
the water.
Oh, dude, perfect.
Oh, damn. Very good. Well, you know,
Hey.
Hey, at least it ain't the bronze funds because he ain't jumping nowhere.
Right.
so
I was trying to figure out, I wanted to use Fozzie. I was thinking about Batman with the shark repellent.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's funny too, but you know.
Right. That's great. Yeah,
The
I
Fonzie
figured we'd have
jumping over
some
the
fun with
shark.
that,
Oh,
with
yeah.
you in the match this
Oh,
week.
yeah, that was
and in the
good.
Shark Tank, Chris. You know,
Yeah,
it gets
for
kind of
sure.
crazy. All right. Speaking of crazy, my book, Deeper Than Dead, came out June 6th, and it's selling well, so I appreciate everybody that's bought a copy.
Hell yeah.
You can go to deeperthandead.com and order yours today. I've already got people asking me when's the next one coming out in the series, so I got my work cut out for me because I'm getting ready to work on a full-length novel here coming up called Etched in Flesh. And I just finished another short story, this one about the old evil eye, the Malokia. And so cranking out short stories and working on the outline for the novel at the same time and trying to just keep up the pace and get back to Deeper Than Dead eventually.
Hell yeah.
All right, we've been mentioning the Dark History and Horror Convention, Chris. It's coming up, and we're going to be there.
Yes, sir.
And that's Friday, August 19th. That's from 4 to 8 p.m.
Gonna be some cool fucking shit there.
Oh, my God. There's a lot of shit going to be there. And also Saturday, August 20th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Chris and I will be there. Brian Usual's going to be there. It's going to be cool. It's at the I Hotel in Champaign, Illinois. That's 2022. So don't show up there
if you guys thought,
6 years from now and be mad at us. That
right.
we're
If you
not
guys thought we were famous, just wait till you see some of the people that are there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I
think we're famous. Fuck.
Yeah. There's the dude from Dazed and Confused is going to be
Jason and Jeremy Lee London both are going to be
there.
there.
Yeah. And Mallrats. I mean, they're going to be doing showings of those with screenings of those movies with the actors in there with you and talking about it, Q&A at the end. So that's cool. I saw just yesterday, Jeff Gaither's supposed to be there this year again. We'll see.
Let's see what happens.
John Borowski, Steve Gianangelo. There's a bunch of tattooists. There's like 4 or 5 other podcasters. It's going to be busy and a lot going on. Terrence Muncie, the artist that did those. There's some big guns going to be at this one. So this will be really cool. And so I'll link to that in the episode description, but you need to get tickets. And if you want to go to those movie screenings, there were very limited seats available. So they may not even be there, but you should be able to get a ticket to the event. And I think he works a deal if you get both days,
right?
That type of thing.
I saw one of the posts off the Rob Zombie page. He's talking about the Monsters movie. I'm pretty sure he's talking about that.
Yeah.
And, you know, talking about like people hating on certain aspects or whatever. But the first fucking comment, like the highlighted comment on the whole fucking post was fucking Ari Lehman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, talking about, man, I love what you're doing, brother. From the first Jason, keep doing your thing or some shit.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like,
yeah, I did not see Ari on the list, but Ari, we met him at the first one we did.
Yeah.
We need to find that intro and use that again.
Yeah, that was a good intro that he did for us. So, yeah, so we got some good ones that are going to be there at Dark History Convention.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we have done plenty of mayhem tonight, guys. So let's hit the fucking outro. Who was that, Joey?
Fucking Malignancy from New York with the song Motivated by Hunger.
Hell yeah, dude.
Wanted to do all shark songs.
Yeah, very cool. Joey, you picked the bumper music tonight, so who did we play tonight?
We had Holy Cost, and then I did the Goremonger, and then Malignancy.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. And Chris, that metal segment intro?
Fucking Christ, always the great metal motherfucker.
Always, always. And our Murder Metal Mayhem intro music by Low 12. Don't forget to come see us at the Dark History and Horror Convention. It's coming up Friday, August 19th, 4 to 8 p.m. Saturday, August 20th, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the I Hotel in Champaign, Illinois. I'll link to their Facebook page on the episode description so you can get your tickets. If you're interested in those movie screenings, I know the limited seating there for the Jeremy and Jason London from Dazed and Confused and Mallrats. So that's going to be really killer. A lot of people are going to be there. Jeff Gaither, John Borowski, Steve Gianangelo. There's going to be a lot. So I'm looking forward to it. Always do. So come check that out. And thank you to everybody out there listening. We keep seeing those big numbers. This week was a good one, 5,300. So thank you very, very much. And we appreciate everybody out there that checks us out, and tell your friends and coworkers, your grandma, whoever will fucking listen. So
Nana's going to listen.
That's right. That's right. And Chris, who do we want to say thank you to this time?
Tonight we
Our
have
first listener. We want to read her.
Tonight we have Carol Simmons says, I really love the Wortman episode. I'm in Nova Scotia, and it's been all over the news here since it happened. You guys did a great job, and love the fact you all tried poutine.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're waiting on a Canadian to confirm the pronunciation of that since Joey brought it up.
Poutine.
We want to be right.
Poutine.
Joey, what about
the whole decal thing had me thrown off.
Yeah, the
because as soon as he said it, I was like, I know what he's going to say right now.
Yeah.
I knew it.
That's hilarious.
We sound redneck. Okay.
That's hilarious. What about the second one,
The second
Joey?
comment is from Dana Kleinberg, and she said, my boyfriend and I love it when you have Shane on. His voice is great.
Yeah, his voices are great. Yeah, he does some really funny voices, man, and we're gonna utilize that. We're getting ready to do that here. I would say by September, I want to be fully rolling in some brawling back in Murder Metal Mayhem, so it'll be a lot of fun. All right, the third one, Kenny Jones 33 says, I'm a listener in Denver, and I've been listening for the last year. I really love hearing you guys cover the topics like you do with a great sense of humor. So thanks, Kenny. That's cool.
Kenny,
appreciate that. And Chris, what about that last one?
Metal Demon 666 says, hey, Chris, thanks for the tip on Extermination Dismemberment. Those guys are fucking sick. So fuck yeah, glad I could turn you on to something.
Yeah, very
Those guys
cool.
Are fucking badass.
Very cool. Very CK of you. Very CK of you.
Yeah.
SickRickMasks.com. Go support what he's doing. The best stuff out there. We've got 9 of them here in the studio. Tonight we've been displaying the John Wayne Gacy Pogo mask, which is amazing. Rick does some great work. He's doing trick-or-treat studio masks and repainting them, and oh my God, he's killing it. So SickRickMasks.com. Link into all this stuff in the episode description. Also, deeperthandead.com if you want to pick up my new book, murdermetalmayhem.com to listen to the episodes. Joey, what about your distro?
Yeah, FTA Records with a Z. Check it out on Facebook.
Yeah, and I linked to that in the episode description as well.
I got merch. You can get it from me if I can keep up to date on shit that I'm doing.
Very cool.
It's the underground.
Yeah, and we're on all the social media spots. We're on most of the podcast platforms, so we should be able to get a hold of us.
Oh, yeah.
Support the show by joining that 666 Club, patreon.com/murdermetalmayhem, $3 a month. That's all it is. Yeah. And we appreciate those 666 Clubbers for sure. Can't let them go without hearing a karaoke song, another blast from the past.
You gotta get some new ones.
I know. I got to get on it. I got to stop trying to do too many things at one time.
I know. I get it.
Crank this one up, and until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
And throw the posers to the fucking sharks, man.
my sunglasses at night so I can watch you weave and breathe your storylines. And I wear my sunglasses at night so I can keep track of the visions in my eyes. While she's deceiving me, it cuts my security, and she got control of me. I turn to her and say, don't switch your blade on the guy in chains, oh no. Don't masquerade with the guy in chains, oh no. I can't believe it, 'cause you got it made with the guy in chains, oh no. I wear my sunglasses at night so I can forget my name while you collect your claim. And I wear my sunglasses at night so I can see the light that's right before my eyes. Fuck yeah! While she's deceiving me, she cuts my security. She's got control of me. I turn to her and say, don't switch your blade on the guy in chains, oh no. Don't masquerade with the guy in chains, fuck no. I can't believe it, 'cause you got it made with the guy in chains, oh no. Take it away, Shane! Put the blade on the guy in chains, oh no. Don't masquerade with the guy in chains, oh no. I can't believe it, and don't be afraid of the guy in chains, oh no. It can't escape you, 'cause you got it made with the guy in chains, oh no. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I say to you,